people started realizing that they're not going to be able to work for a long fucking time.
Right.
Did you see the governor got busted? Did you see the photos?
Which governor?
Governor of California.
He got busted for what?
Got busted going to a restaurant with 12 people, no social distancing, no masks. All the shit that he's been preaching for, he didn't do. They were saying that he was in outdoors, like his people said it was outdoors, but now they have photos of it, 100% indoors.
Right.
They're all indoors.
But the
talking,
thing, that,
sitting.
the unrealistic part about that, people got to push their platform. This match has been crazy. But me, I know it shouldn't be like this, and I know it's like, but what does it?
She curls up in you.
But what does
She's
it represent?
So adorable.
When I see motherfuckers like that in a situation that no mask, not social distancing, I just assume that they all been tested and they all been in a bubble situation.
Well, that's because you've been in a bunch of bubble situations. Like when Dave did his shows down in Yellow Springs.
Like
you guys all
you
got
bubbled
tested.
me first.
I bubble you here.
You're the first person. You're the first person. You didn't rate my nose. You rate my finger.
I didn't do it.
Yes, you did.
You hired a nurse.
You made somebody do it. You could call it whatever the fuck you want to do, but she worked for you.
That's true.
And you forced that she had to do it.
Well, I just suggested it'd probably be a good idea for everybody.
Yeah, but it was good for everybody, and you knew that. So we know like that's a bubble world.
Yeah.
But it's not surprising that you see the governor in a situation like that, because I'm pretty sure it doesn't send out the right message, but I'm pretty sure that the motherfuckers was tested.
Well, that's what he should have said. They can't say that because they're a politician and everybody would go, wait a minute, if I just test people, can I go to work? Like what Dave's doing with all his shows.
Yeah.
Test people in the audience, and you can have a full audience. You have a bunch of people that are healthy.
You're taking the measures to create that safety.
Yes.
It's a bubble. Here's the thing that a lot of people understand is that, like, you could literally create your own bubble.
Yes.
Like, I know people like, well, in certain states, you have to meet a certain requirement to be tested. You can't be tested unless you start showing symptoms. But you can create your bubble. There's testing almost everywhere. There's an opportunity for people to get tested.
It's a little harder than that for most people because.
But most people mean state for state.
Most people, in terms of like just your access to it, it's not that common where you can go to a place and get a quick test.
Okay, so then what's the difference? Now, maybe wrong. This may be my ignorance. Like California, like I know the situation, like at Dodger Stadium. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like for the most part, anybody with, I guess, a California ID or whatever, they can get tested.
But hold on. That takes hours. Those people have to wait in line for hours. There was a line
to get it done.
Yeah.
But what does that matter?
Our it takes fucking. If you have a job, man. If you have a job and you're supposed to be at work at 9 a.m. and you get to the COVID thing at 7:30 and they tell you it's a 2.5 hour line, that's what it is. That's the reality. And most of those aren't giving you the results immediately.
Not immediately, but enough where you could, if you got those results, to say you get those results in 18 hours. Say you were going to plan a family function or something.
You don't do shit
like
for 18 hours.
You could do. Then, what I'm saying is, like, when the idea of the bubble first started with the NBA. You kind of contributed to that. Dave did it.
Well, UFC did it first.
Yeah,
we did it, and UFC did it first.
But they always thought, like, oh my God, you don't have to be a millionaire to create a safe bubble for you and your family, your friends, right?
No, you can do it now easier than ever before. But the problem with the governor saying it is other people will let us make a bubble and go to work because that's what they should do. What they could do is what we're doing here. We're just lucky that podcasting is an essential business. I think she's trying to jump down.
She's not trying to kill herself.
No, I mean, she's just looking over the edge.
Right. She's my emotional dog. So.
I understand.
All right.
Listen,
if anybody going to jump, it's going to be me.
I'm in tune with her.
Okay.
She's the most adorable little dog I've ever seen. Man. I've never seen a little dog as a puppy.
Maggie Rivers, she's 5 months old. She knows her biological dad, and I'm her new dad. It was important for her to know her biological dad because I didn't want her to come from a place with like mental issues and shit. But
I understand.
She's in tune with her mother. She knows her brothers and sisters. They have play dates.
She's a
but
little
she knows she's my little bitch right now.
What kind of dog is she?
A Chihuahua pit bull.
No. She's part pit bull?
That dog don't look like it's part pit bull.
And a pit bull fucking Chihuahua.
A toy pit bull.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's
one of the little ones.
She's toy Chihuahua and toy.
Those toy pit bulls are cute little dogs.
Yeah, she's ferocious. Don't let that fucking sad eyes fool you.
Have you ever seen a toy pit bull, Jamie? I don't think so. They're really tiny. We know real pit bulls, like the fighting pit bulls, they were like 30 pounds. They weren't big dogs. The ones that they bred for fighting. The smaller ones are the little demons.
I don't even know if I can remember ever seeing a small pit bull.
Yeah. Brian Callen used to have a small pit bull. It was a tiny one, and it was ferocious.
That's where he gets his personality from. It's not him. It's his,
no, he bought
it's
it.
his animals.
We went to a guy who raised them for fighting.
Oh shit!
Yeah, we were like in our 20s. Oh my God! Look how tiny.
Damn, that little motherfucker look tough as shit. The black one, the
face.
Black Lives Matter one, son.
Look at his face. Oh my God, that's ridiculous. That dog's ridiculous. See, that's the thing that they do. They take these dogs and they.
But they break
turn
their
them into
legs and shit like that, right?
Well, no, they just breed them. They do what's called they select, right? So like a dog with shorter legs, they'll breed with another dog with shorter legs.
Many rules had begun to bend.
Like I used to have a dog that was from
nanotechnology.
Hawaii, and they used
This
them for
produced a
hog
lot of
hunting.
good.
That's what they used
and
his
a lot of
family for.
bad.
So he had long ears.
It was a
He
dog
was a pit bull.
specific to Hawaii.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. They breed a lot of pit bulls in Hawaii. For
And what are their
hog
jobs?
hunting.
Because most dogs do they go get birds? What the fuck does it do?
Hog hunting.
Okay.
See, what they do is in the real thick brush, you can't really get to the hogs. Like it's hard to shoot them even with a gun. Like you're shooting through hundreds of yards of brush. But
Right.
the dogs can go in there and get them, and they'll hold them. They'll hold the pig. So there's a style of
That
pig
makes the hunting easy though, right?
It does, except for the dog. It's not like the same kind of hunting because you're
Right.
relying 100% on the dogs. Usually there's two groups of dogs, depending on what animal you like. If they hunt mountain lions, they'll use a certain kind of dog that'll bay the dog.
Right.
That'll bay the mountain lion. But if they hunt pigs, a lot of times they'll use an animal that lets you know where the pig is, and then they release other animals that hold the pig. So those are the pit bulls.
And then you shoot them.
Well, they usually stab them.
Hand, like up.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked.
Oh, so that
Because-
experience is all about the dog.
It's the dog is the one who did it, and you just finished the job.
Damn.
It's crazy too. There's, excuse me. There's videos of it, of the way they do it, and it's like woof. And I've been asked to go on one of those hunts. I'm like, I am not interested in doing that. I
What
get
they
it.
do? What happens when the dog gets old? Do they
To
like?
get new dogs. But this is a thing that people are doing for two reasons. One, for food, right? Because this is the best way that they can get food. Like you can trap this animal, and then that's how you're going to get the animal. If you just rely on just hunting with like a rifle or a bow and arrow and real thick shit with wild pigs, you're probably going to go hungry. So there's that. And then the other thing is these are invasive animals. Like they were brought over to Hawaii, and they're wild and they have no predators, so they have to kill them. They have to control them.
So did they bring them up here to kill a species or something? Like I know that.
No, they brought them over for food.
Oh, okay.
Like Captain Cook and those dudes used to do that shit. They used to release goats.
I don't know
on
Captain
islands.
Cook. I know Captain Crunch.
I know Captain Crunch as well.
Yeah, that's a.
Delicious stuff. Captain Hook was an old pirate, right? Wasn't he? Cook. Did I say Hook? Yeah. Hook was a pirate too.
I shall
That's
return
a Disney
again to
pirate.
the light
Yeah.
of the
Captain
sun.
Cook. He used to go to islands and they would drop off animals, so that the next time they came around, they'd have something to eat.
That's
So
smart.
Yeah, so they'd leave goats on an island. I think that's how the goats got on Galapagos. I think that's how they got on a lot of islands. These pirates or sailors would drop these animals off. But meanwhile, these animals would destroy ecosystems.
Yeah, but you had some fresh goat when you
You have
came
some
back.
fresh goat.
Yeah, fuck the rivers.
They
and
had
shit.
a lot of turtles too. They killed off a lot of sea turtles because they would take sea turtles and because you don't need anything. Like they can survive just on their back for weeks and weeks and weeks, and you don't have to worry about refrigeration or them. You know.
But you can't tell somebody you're hunting turtles.
You're not trying to do it for sport.
They slow as a motherfucker. If you like, I fucking stalked this fucking. I followed this turtle for 3 days.
I think they probably get them on the beach, but if you got them in the water, they'd be quick. Sea turtles. Like
When
you
I was
try to
growing up,
catch
we
'em while they're
catch a
swimming.
motherfucking turtle on the road, and it was always one country motherfucker. Like this, he usually was a mechanic in the neighborhood, and he had like oil up under his hand. He always helped people's baby mothers with fucking changing their brake pads and shit. Just one of those grimy, dirty motherfuckers that eat any type of roadkill. And whenever we saw fucking a dead turtle or something, we knew that nigga was gonna be yelling out "turtle soup."
Yeah, people
That's what
like
he
turtle
did.
soup.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it, but
I've never had it.
yeah, it seems like it would probably be an alligator, meaty type of family.
Alligator tastes good.
It is.
Yeah.
Everything tastes good when it tastes like chicken. That's the reference for anything. It tastes like chicken.
Yeah, I had frog legs recently. They were good.
I've had frog legs before, but trying to convince a black person to eat frog legs is a tough sell. That's
tall
all.
order.
Yeah, to get a black person to order frog legs off of a menu is like getting them to say, "I want my steak rare." It's always got to be well done.
You eat well done?
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't.
Oh, but how do you eat your steak?
Medium.
Medium.
Yep.
Not medium rare.
There's a lot of black people that watch this show. Yeah, they're gonna be like, I'm gonna tell you when he changed. When they start talking about blood.
Medium rare.
Yeah, when they start talking about blood, that's when he lost the streets, son. I could do medium rare, I can't do it.
I understand.
I've had it like that, but my preference would be medium.
Yeah.
But dude, average, circle that I grew up around.
My jiu-jitsu instructor eats it well done, and when he orders it, I cringe like, Jean-Jacques Machado, well done. I go, whoa.
Do you know what that feeling is? Imagine a chef that gets the order and says, 2 well done steaks at table 49. They're calling them every fucking racial thing that they can think of. That's the quickest way to fucking make somebody order a fucking well done steak and see how
did not enjoy it.
Not at all.
Did not like cooking it like that. That's a weird thing, like a preference thing. Like if you ask people's preference, like it's not like you just cook it. Like if you order chicken, they just cook your chicken. They don't ask you what temperature you'd like your chicken breast.
But
they
they
just
know.
Cook it. Yeah, well, they just cook it.
Right.
But even pork chops, same thing, right?
Yeah.
They don't ask you. But with steak, they'll give you options. Well, why the fuck are you giving me an option if I can't have well done?
You should just have it your way, but it's just insulting.
It is, but
it's insulting. Like,
they give the opportunity to insult because they do have that as an option.
Have you ever been a certain way, like judge somebody by the way they order their steak?
Yeah, I do, honestly. But again, Jean-Jacques Machado, like I said, I have nothing but respect for him. It makes me sad that he likes well-done meat.
I know this is going to be bad. People be like, what type of brother am I? But I took my sister out to eat once. She ordered a steak, and she ordered it well done. I said, I think you should order something else. I said, I'm not paying for a leather belt.
Wow.
And I didn't even have to eat the shit. I wasn't going to do it. I just felt fucked up.
You felt judgy.
I was judgy.
A little judgy.
Yep. I was like, let that fucking hood shit go.
But isn't that the only food that we have that with? Like cheeseburgers, nobody gives a fuck. Someone says, how do you want your cheeseburger? Like,
well, in the black
medium,
community,
well done.
The Commonwealth of Venice in their armory
for the
have
most part,
this
that's going to
inscription.
be well done.
Yeah, it's
Black
Happy
people don't
is
want to
that
see the pink
city,
in it. That's
which in time of peace
they'll tell you
thinks of war.
all the pink out.
Well, you really should with ground beef. See, the thing with ground beef is you don't know what the surface area is. When you're eating ground beef, right, they take a cow's whatever, and they grind it up. The stuff in the middle, like, that could have been on the outside, right? So you don't know, like, when you get a steak, you sear the outside, you cook the outside. There's no room for bacteria. Anything that could have grown on the outside is dead. And the inside you don't have to worry about unless it's rotten.
That's why black people get their fucking hamburgers well done,
well,
Joe.
that's wise.
We didn't know it, but that's just what it was for a hamburger.
Right,
yeah.
You don't want to get food poisoning.
Right.
Yeah, hamburgers, unless you are right there when they grind it, or you go to a top shelf restaurant where they'll take a piece of chuck roast and or even filet mignon. Like some of them do it with like a
if you get a burger that's ground out of filet mignon, you're in the right neighborhood.
You're in the right neighborhood.
Yeah.
They usually add fat to it, believe it or not.
To make it juicier.
Yeah, to make it juicier.
What is it with white people with blood, though?
I don't know.
I mean, like, I know this been said, but white people get a kick out of, like, the rarest they can order a steak. Like, the blood part of it, like,
Nobody.
What?
Rare is weird. When somebody orders rare, or you know what blue
but
is?
you proud of the blood, Joe.
No.
Every time you post an elk picture, it's like you can't just show the meat. You want motherfuckers to see the knife, and you do your picture, Joe, and it's like you waited for the blood to sweat at a certain temperature. You know when it looks the bloodiest, and that's the shot you always
That's not
get.
what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to do is show that it's cooked perfectly, that it's medium rare with respect for the meat. When I do it, I use a thermometer. I mean, I do it nice and slow, and I know you know how to cook. Don't get crazy.
Wait a minute.
Don't get crazy.
Wait a minute,
Just
Joe.
trying to explain something.
Wait a minute, Joe.
What?
You're a man of wilderness,
Yes.
right? And all that. You're well respected, right?
Look at that, though.
Yeah, look at that, Joe. Look at that.
Perfect. It's
Look at
perfect.
that.
That's perfect. You can't. It doesn't get better than that.
But you're proud of the color of it.
Because it's perfect. It's perfectly cooked.
But it looks, it's like, what is it?
That's elk. That's elk. That's super athlete.
I argued with someone because I told them that you like elk and I can make elk, and they were like, "This
I'm sure you
can't
can
make
make it."
But they were like,
Tom
this.
Papa makes it.
The last time I spoke to you about me cooking, you were very condescending.
That's not true.
Yes, you were. You were making
No,
fun of me.
I said it the same way I said you got shot.
No, okay.
I said you can cook.
Yeah, and you're
That's
right.
not condescending.
It is, but the way you looked at me, you looked me up and down. You judged me, and then you said, "That's the difference, Joe. That's the difference." When I said I could cook elk,
Let
you
me
looked
just
at
tell you
me
what
like,
I've heard.
"Get the
Let me
fuck
tell you what
outta
I've
here."
heard. I heard you cook really well.
Okay.
I heard you have amazing barbecue skills.
That could be
Quite a-
borderline
quite a
racist.
few people.
That could be borderline racist. That could be borderline.
Isn't
That's
that
just
your
like you.
shit? What is
Yeah,
your
but
shit?
you said barbecue. You like.
Listen, barbecue is one of the most complex forms of cooking.
I know, but
You got to
listen,
be
when I hear
real
barbecue,
careful.
I hear
You're doing it slow. Too much, you fuck it up. Too little, you don't do it right.
An
then
opera
it's hard to put it
begins
back
long
on
before
because
the
it hasn't
curtain
been
goes
sitting at
up
the same temperature the
and
entire
ends long
time.
after
That's
it's
the
come
art
down.
of barbecue.
It
When I
starts
hear
in my
barbecue, I think about
imagination.
barbecue.
It becomes my
Like
life.
barbecue.
And it stays part of my life long after I've left the opera house.
One piece of barbecue. That's what I was
Barbecue
saying.
in Texas is mostly white people, I think.
And
As far
I will
as my
say
own
this.
personal experiences.
I will say this. White people can fucking smoke some meat.
They know how to do it here, I'll tell you that.
When I first got it, I think it's a place called Blacks. I don't know if you found the favorite.
Terry
or whatever.
Blacks, phenomenal.
Didn't that franchise?
Ooh.
Didn't they break up? Like
Yes.
they broke up.
They
One
used to be
person
with the
took-
family, then the sons started on their own.
They
That's
started
the
beefing with
place
each
I've
other,
been.
literally.
Yeah, they had some issues. I don't want to air their dirty laundry on the podcast.
Right.
But the sons
Somebody stole the
opened up a
barbecue
spot.
secret
Something
sauce.
happened. Something happened. 'Cause
Somebody gave up the secret sauce.
these people, Terry Black's in town has only been open since 2014, I believe, and it feels like a place that's been around 100 years. I mean, they got it dialed in. That barbecue's off the hook.
Think
It's
about it. They
so
have to have
good.
it dialed in if they came up generations and generations.
Yeah.
They're just putting whatever the recipe is, whatever the love is.
Donnell, they make their own. They make their own smokers. They use giant propane tanks, and they make their own smokers.
Oh, maybe that's what I enjoy.
Next level.
Yeah, white people level of barbecuing when they start doing the machines and.
I should say
different
they
wood
hire
chips.
someone to make their smokers, but they get this dude to make these smokers out of propane tanks. They're not buying like a big commercial smoker. They're having this commercial smoker made. They gave us
That's
a
cheating
tour.
the game, bro.
They did an amazing job. They wanted it to their specifications, and those propane tanks are thick as fuck. It's heavy
Fuck
gauge
that, man.
steel.
Where's the wood?
Well, you cook with wood.
Okay.
The wood is an offset. You know how those smokers work?
Right.
So you have an offset, a firebox. The
Right.
firebox is over on the side, and they're constantly checking the temperature and opening the flues, make sure it's at a perfect temperature. And then you got the smoker, which is off to the side, and they're moving meat around because it's hotter where the air comes right out. But
so they got the
they're
whole
really well
system.
in. Oh my God, they got it dialed in. Their brisket is ridiculous. It's so good.
That's the what I'm talking about, bro.
Oh.
That shit melts your mouth, and their brisket don't come off bloody like that.
It's a different kind of animal. That's elk. I mean, you could have elk and you could do it that way. They cook the neck meat that way. My friend John Dudley, we were
Neck
neck
meat.
neck meat, because the neck meat is very strong and dense. Because elk has giant antlers, right? So
Right.
Elk's carry. It's like it's doing weights with its
But
neck.
an elk doesn't have no fatty. It's no fatty.
No fat. There's a little bit of fat on the outside of them, but there's no fat in the meat at all. It's a totally different thing. So you got to cook it slow. So if it's anything other than that, like medium rare like that, it's going to be dried out.
Right.
You want it just cooked slowly and seared on the outside. So like I take a totally different approach if I'm cooking like a ribeye from a cow versus an elk steak. Completely different way of cooking.
I know that because you never post regular steak pictures. It's like
I eat regular
no,
steak.
you don't. You
I
don't never.
do.
You fucking once you did your fucking first elk, your regular steak pictures was just dead, man.
Well, they're not as interesting to me. Regular steak is great. I'll cook it. I'll eat it. But the elk is like, I have an intimate relationship with that.
Everyone knows that. I mean, even when I tell people I'm going to do your show, they'll like take a bite of the elk from me. I'm serious, man. It's like, yo, you done some cool shit. They see you do a lot of cool shit, but they never see you. And you told me, do I really want elk? And I was like, yeah, but I was in the hospital recovering from my injury, so I couldn't get here the way I wanted to.
That's a lucky injury in the sense, right? Like,
I mean-
all the things that could have gone wrong, but not even need surgery.
Right.
To get the bullet fragments out.
I mean, that's how I run my life, man. I try to make it easy as possible. Anybody else could have fucking had this injury and been fucked up. If the pandemic can't stop me, neither can this fucking thumb, man.
Yeah.
How does it feel? I know it's a crazy question. You get it all the time. From being from a place, like you were saying, like what we took advantage of.
Yeah.
And one of the things we never took advantage of stage time because we always did it, but not having it accessible to you all the time. How does it feel here with not being able to, like, you know what? I'm getting ready to go do like fucking 3 spots and hammer some shit out real quick.
Well, I haven't done that since March, since the store closed down. There was no comedy at all in LA. So it was a whole life shift. The only time I did it on the road was July. And in July, I did 4 shows at the Houston Improv. I had a great fucking time.
I just left there, man.
Great place.
Did you feel, I know this sounds crazy. I know we're going to get to some mask shit story, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's a club that had a certain capacity. Now they got to trim it down to meet whatever the mandated rules are. But people were in there, temperature check, they were in there. And I know this sounds crazy. Some people were masked. Some people didn't have masks. And I think if I'm not mistaken, they sell tickets as a group, right?
I don't know if they're doing that now, but they're doing that at a lot of places.
And it's like, you feel good about it.
Yeah.
But then it's like, people take away from that feeling because it's always somebody like, where's the mask? Where's the mask?
Right. There are people that are rightly upset at people taking risks because those people that do take risks can then get sick. And if they're irresponsible enough to take a risk and get sick, they might be irresponsible enough to go out and mingle with people when they know they're sick. But some people are like that. Some people are selfish. You know that, right?
I know that.
Yeah. So
then
that's what
you have to be.
And then they could even give it out when they don't know they have it. They could be asymptomatic.
But then, at some point, don't you have to be selective about the people that you engage with? Don't you have to be selective on the chances? This is my frustration. I'm not a mask or a non-masker. Like, people make the argument, but what if I go to the grocery store and I have my mask on and there's this old lady that doesn't have her mask on? Then I don't think you should go places where it could be people that don't have their mask on. Shouldn't you order online or something?
Just don't get in that lady's face, and you're gonna be fine. It's
man.
I don't think you should tell some old lady that she has to put a mask on. I ran into an old lady at the grocery store. She didn't have a mask on, and I was like, all right, what are you gonna do? She's old, man. I mean, this lady, she probably feels terrible breathing through the mask. Probably feels like she doesn't have much time.
She's about to have an asthma attack.
She had one on, but she was doing this shit.
I got into an argument.
That chin shit that people are doing.
I get yelled at. I went to a grocery store. I'm getting a couple of items, and I had my motherfucking mask on. Joe, when I tell you, the tip of my nose was showing. The tip right here.
People got mad.
And this lady was behind plexiglass. She had sanitizer. She was squirting the register down every minute. She had a mask, everything. And my shit went right to the tip of my nose. She was like, sir, you got to put your mask on. You got to put your mask on. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Then I got to pay. I do Apple Pay. But to get into my phone,
you got to open up the phone
with my face.
Yeah.
So I put it down. Sir, I'm sorry. I'm like, I'm trying to pay. I got to log in my face. She was like, well, you can't do that in here. Right?
You can't use Apple Pay?
I can't show my face to open my phone up.
You got to use Samsung Pay. They let you use your fingerprint. Time to switch to Android.
I don't have an Android. I don't have it. That's very evil for you.
I have an Android.
I know, but I wouldn't talk about your fucking phone, Joe.
Why is it evil?
Because it was the wrong time. It was the fucking wrong time. And the thing I was making, so I had to.
How'd you guys? You're dating.
This is what I had to do, Joe. I had to actually leave the register, go to where I could outside.
Yeah.
Show my face, open my phone up, and I went. And then when that happened, I could have been pissed, but I could have.
If the enemy know not where he will be attacked, he must prepare in every quarter.
Well, it's just a lady working there. Just
so
put the mask over your nose.
Weak.
I'm not going to put myself in a situation where I can get frustrated. I did it. It was just for. Is there any?
Just for Apple Pay. But you were already arguing with her, right? Is that part of the problem?
I never said I was arguing, so...
She was already telling you to put your mask over your nose. So she was in a heightened state of...
Awareness?
Of frustration.
Yeah, but she also... I don't know if it was me. You know what? It was me.
προτείνει
I didn't see
τρόπο
that energy
αουξέσεις
around
στην
anybody else.
Σεναργέν.
Perfect time to use the
Ιού,
black card.
του
I'm not
λαού
gonna do it.
χαίνε καμάκι.
It's the nose card. She saw your nose, and some people are just like real sticklers for shit. You know Bridget Fetisi? Do you know
who's
Bridget?
that?
Comic from LA, writer. She told me she was walking on one side of the street, and there was a guy across the street on the sidewalk on the other side, yelled at her, "Put a mask on!"
Let me tell you something. This argument, I know it's for safety and everything. I know it's for safety and what the lives we share and all that. But for some people, it's a perfect opportunity to be an asshole.
Exactly.
It's like, and that's the fine line is like, do you really care about this mask, or you get to either it's discrimination against masked people and no masked people.
It's just people have an opportunity to tell people what to do. They get mad.
They do.
Yeah, they
And
love
then
it.
you want to adhere to it, then they get mad because you're not listening to the rules. Fuck it.
Right. Well, that's why people are particularly upset with this Gavin Newsom shit. Because he's been the one telling us you can't have large gatherings for Thanksgiving, stay home, social distance, wear a mask in between bites of food.
Right.
This guy's been saying all this shit.
And then he's doing
and now
something
you
different.
go see him eating at a restaurant.
So does that mean that we believe everything's what you got? So that's a perfect example of, a lot of things are motivated through politics and looks. You know what I'm saying? Everything that you see, it's not really what you think it is. So how much are you going to put into a person? Like what their thoughts are? Yeah.
Not much. What kind of person wants to do that? That's the problem. What kind of person wants to be a governor? They're not normal. And you didn't care until the pandemic. When the pandemic rolled around, you realized, oh, the mayor matters. It really matters who your mayor is.
You know what? I think a lot of them like have dreams of a certain amount of fame and want to be superstars.
Yeah.
Because even though you say you do it for the people, you have to be likable or have some type of personality to connect with those people.
And you're cultivating your act. They have an act too.
100%.
They have an act that's different than our act. Our act is to make people laugh. Their act is to get people to think that they're the person who's got the solution. There's our leader.
So their act is to lie.
Yes. 100%.
Man, David, you know what, Joe? We're going through all of this shit. And even with this last election, whoever you decided you liked, appreciate, whatever, it was just a weird thing going on. It was a weird thing going on. And I was watching one of David Goggins' posts, and I have to say, David Goggins, I've never seen nobody have worse feet than my feet.
Oh, his feet are broken down. But he just got done running 240 miles.
I know you was going to defend that, and I was going to say the same thing, Joe. I know you were going to say, well, what has he done with his feet, and what have you done with So I know you were going to be like, you know how many mountains? Those are fucking rock blisters.
Yeah, legitimate.
I knew you was going to say that, and that's the point I was going to make it. That's the point I was going to make. He said, everybody.
There they are.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! Look at those big toes.
Yeah, those look like like they've been through it.
That is hilarious. That thing on the left, you showed me that. If you cut out like the right foot's big toe,
damn,
that
son.
right foot's big toe. If you showed me a photo of that and didn't show me the rest of his foot, I'd be like, that's like a snail or something.
People would say, if you did that, people would say that was my foot.
That's a Mars rock.
But like you said,
just zoom in on just the toe. Don't show me anything but his right toe. That's a rock from Mars. That's not real.
But that's fucking a lot of miles, Joe.
That's a brain of steel. That man has a brain of steel.
That's a lot.
He knows how to force himself to do shit that hurts.
And this is what he was saying. He said, and then whatever it is, one thing about him, he always has to remind you that he was a fat piece of shit.
Yep.
It doesn't that's got to be fat. Must be the number one motivating thing for him.
Look at that toe.
God damn.
So
son.
if you didn't see the rest of it, you'd be like, what is that? Oh, that's a rock somewhere. That's on another planet. It's a satellite photo.
Don't go that close, son.
That's a
Come on,
satellite
man.
photo.
See, white people, y'all gross as shit, son.
That's a satellite
you
photo.
You want to see blood and pus come out of that motherfucker. I know your thing, like, Jamie, go closer. But the point he made, son, he said, everybody, I used to be a fat piece of shit.
Yeah, he was 300 pounds.
Yeah, I was 300 when I was a piece of shit. Everybody's looking for, I need the answer with this person. I need the answer with that person. But fuck it, why don't you be the answer for yourself?
Yeah.
That's. I know people like, that's easy to say. But why not find the answers you need in life through yourself?
Right.
And through what you do, your hard work, and the type of person, and type of human, and type of father you are.
That's why people like him are so important, because he'll tell
like what?
you.
Yeah.
People like him are so important because he'll tell you he used to have no discipline.
Right.
So like, look at him now. This is not something he was
really
born
quick.
with.
I gotta interrupt. It's so funny you said discipline because I was having coffee with Dave today, and then he said that about you because I was talking about I can't drink no shit with my antibiotics when I got shot and everything. You know, some kind of way we talked about you, and then and that's what he said. He said I fucking love and respect his discipline.
I do have some of that.
Yeah,
but I'm lazy too, man. I force myself in all this stuff that I do.
Yeah, but you get challenged by something though.
Yeah.
Something kicks you in the ass.
Yeah. Well, I don't like falling. I don't like not doing what I'm supposed to do. So I force myself to do what I'm supposed to do, but it's never easy. It's not easy, you know. It's like I always would think of disciplined people as being like there was no wavering. They just got up and did it. But that's the other thing Goggins tells you. He goes, sometimes I'll stare at my shoes for 30 motherfucking minutes before I put them bitches on.
Yeah, because you want to get rid of, look at them ugly ass feet, son. God damn, son. God damn. Hey, son.
That's not what he's talking about, though. He's talking about discipline.
I know this is the worst time, Joe. I did a pivot. I opened up my own store, right? And after I just saw David Goggins' feet, you got to help me get that. Look at that shit,
well,
son.
I know we sold candles.
No, son. You don't know about that right there. Yo, son. That is, Joe, put a little on your hand. Please put a little on your hand.
It smells good.
That shit is vegan. It's all natural. It's fire, son.
I want to see you. It has been
That's
said that arguing...
Watch what I say, son. Watch what I say. Nice. Watch how long that shit lasts, Joe.
Okay. Feels good.
I know it sounds weird. Look at that shit,
Smells
son.
good.
It's the shit, son. Raw edge. The
What's
ingredients are all on the back. I know you don't got your glass. You don't have to read it. But it's like type of oils and coconuts I never heard of in my life.
It smells like coconut.
Coconut, or Google, all the black nuts
CBD.
and oils. CBD, son. Feel me?
I don't know what this stuff is.
When I
Mongongo oil? What is that?
Google it. Google it. Google it.
And Mad Rich plant butters.
Good, yo, you laughing, son? You're laughing, but that shit is fire, son.
Good. I'm just laughing at the
Erykah Badu put that shit on, right?
I love it.
Erykah Badu put that shit. No, that's you, son.
Oh, thank you.
Listen, Erykah Badu put that on, son. And she started rubbing herself real, real slow. She hadn't been out in the pandemic in a while. And she was like, She was like, is it edible?
Wow. How high was she? Was she really high?
Are you disrespecting my product or you
disrespecting
disrespecting
but if
her
I was
nonsense?
thinking about taking cream and eating it, I'd probably have to be pretty high.
Certain people react to things differently, Joe.
But it does smell like food, though. It smells like a delicious pina colada.
Wait to it. It's like food.
There it is.
It's like food for your body is eating right now, Joe.
And 100 milligrams of CBD.
Yep. Look at that. Mongongo oil. There it is right there. CBD and hemp seed oil. Cocoa butter. We got all the nuts.
Look at this. When did you start this business? How long ago?
I've been working on the formula for 2 years.
Scroll down. Look at that.
I know. That's my
Why does it say too classy?
Because that's the
from
filling.
ashy to classy.
That's the filling. That's the filling you have.
Look at that. I like the sparkle.
The thing about it, Joe, I've been ashy my whole life, right? You know that. Everybody know it. And for years, people like, you should do lotion. You should do lotion. I'm like, man, it's kind of corny. I mean, it could be the novelty could be funny. Yo, ashy Larry got his own lotion. And I was like, fuck that shit. Then I met with this young lady, and she's like a chemist when it comes to this lotion shit. And we started working on it. And then when I finally tried what was the end product, I was like, this shit really works. Like, it really works and it's good.
It sounds like it's good for your muscles, too, if it's got CBD
It's good for
it.
everything. Your hands are going to thank me later, son.
I believe it.
Yes.
What is the name of the website?
Donnell Rollins. That's where you can get it.
Oh,
Donnell
okay.
Rollins. I opened up a store, son.
I like it. I like it. Look at you, entrepreneurial.
This is one thing that came out of this, and not just for me, Joe, for a lot of people. Think about this. A person that makes their money on the road, a real road comic. This happened to me. 95% of the money that I make is on the road. 95% of the shows I had are done. So only thing I have from what I usually make is that 5%, and that ain't enough for shit.
Right.
And even though you can have some money stacked up or whatever, you still gotta ask yourself, what the fuck is gonna be the pivot?
I don't think the pivot's gonna come for a long time either, in terms of us being able to get back to work.
No, we about to work next summer.
Next summer, you think?
Joe.
Donnell.
Well, I'm not trying to say I don't believe in Corona right now, but we are on the track of not just deadness shit, but being able to have it under control. We're about to get to the point where people are going to have more sense of security. You know what I'm saying? Just think about think about the progress we made in a year from when this shit first happened. You take a corona test, you had to wait like 7 days.
Right.
Think about it when it first hit. We had to like, oh my God, it was so scary, And then all these ventilators. But if you know now, since when the pandemic started, yeah, we still losing people, but you don't hear that ventilator talk too much no more.
Well, ventilators are actually a bad idea now, they realize.
My point. You know what I'm saying?
They figured out a lot of things. I did a whole podcast yesterday on COVID with Nicholas Christakis from Yale.
He a COVID nigga?
He believes that COVID is a real problem. Yeah, for sure.
I believe it, but I think it's controllable.
It is controllable. I think it's a multifaceted problem, and I think we're only handling one aspect of it, which is keep people from working, keep people home, keep people away from people.
No, you can't do that.
You're treating people like they're children.
This is what you got to do,
You got to let them go outside.
This is what you got to do. We're going to have more creative ways to make money. Like, think about the comedy scene. When we thought, like, the only place to tell jokes was on the stage. And I had some resentment toward some of those outdoor events, the parking lot shit. First time I saw one of those parking lot shows with horns, I was like, never give a heckler an instrument to fuck your show up. I'm like, there's no way these motherfuckers don't like me. There's no way I'm gonna be.
Yeah, but people are happy to be out, man. It's a different experience.
And the point I was making is like, you could suppress people, you can hold them down for a certain period of time, but after a while, you're going to have to figure something out.
My point I was going to make is they're only looking at one side of it. They're not looking at telling people how to be healthy. There's no talk about that.
Nigga!
Yes.
Nigga!
That's what's up, right?
Son, you a strong motherfucker. All your niggas are strong. Jamie might be the least strong out of everybody.
Whoa, excuse me?
Stop
now,
with the ding.
Saying, like,
Shut
Jamie,
your
I know
phone's ding off, man.
Jamie, I'm not saying you're not strong, son. I'm not
saying...
saying...
you just said that.
Yeah, but you're comparing him to like Tony Hinchcliffe
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
or Red Band.
Oh yeah, I didn't forget about
Listen, he's got a deadly three-pointer.
Tony Hinchcliffe.
He's got a deadly three-pointer and he runs. Like Jamie's in shape.
That's black shape.
He does pull-ups.
That's black people shape.
He does pull-ups.
That's black people shape. Run, play basketball, and pull-ups and push-ups. You do like a jail workout, son.
Jamie's actually in good shape.
No, I believe it. I'm sorry, Jamie. I didn't mean to offend you, man.
I get it. He's back there. He doesn't
God
talk a
damn,
lot.
I know. Then when he finally talks, it's like, yo, when he finally talks.
Jamie, show him that video of you dunking, shooting three-pointers.
I never said he couldn't play basketball, son.
Dude, it's impressive. Like
you
Rain Man shit.
Son?
No, you can't dunk.
We're working on that.
He's hitting three-pointer after three-pointer like Rain Man. There's something weird about him. Like he's got he might have a wire crossed in his brain.
I didn't know you was nice. What I'm saying is, to go back to your point, Joe, is everybody's talking about the end of Corona. Like Don Lemon, man. Don Lemon. Son, 4 years, son. For 4 years. For 4 years straight, he complained. He was mad at Donald Trump for 4 fucking years.
Yeah.
4 years. And I was like, man, if Donald Trump wins this election, Don Lemon is going to jump off the CNN building.
Do you remember all their faces when he won last time? When he won in 2016? They were all so depressed. Jake Tapper and all those people on TV just like, motherfucker, I can't believe this.
Yeah. But here's the thing, Joe. I'm like,
I don't think you're supposed to do that if you're doing the news. If
Joe,
you're doing commentary, you can
Joe,
do that. Like if you're doing the news, you're supposed to say the news.
Joe.
Let us figure it out.
Joe.
Donnell.
Joe. That's why I do subscribe to the notion that fake news. Like, to be honest, it's all fake. It's all of them are fake.
It's a lot
all
fake.
And this is what I did, what I keep on telling people is like, how, I know you're upset, but when you're like, you're, it's all personal. Like, everything hits you to the heart. Like,
well, that's where it gets weird. Those two guys, Chris Cuomo and Don Lemon, both of them, they do this editorializing and this like it's almost like they're doing a podcast.
And their opinion is all in it.
And their opinion's in it, but it's also scripted.
It's on the other side too.
But it's scripted.
Yeah. And
they're doing it on a news channel. There's a lot going on there.
But that's why if you don't, here's another thing about the media. If you didn't understand whatever party you agree with, whatever, that if you don't understand how easy it is to manipulate the media, Joe, it is so simple.
To manipulate the media?
To manipulate the media and the people that listen to it.
Well,
that's what
you can manipulate people. What do you mean by manipulate the media?
Like, you can create stories.
Okay.
You can create stories.
Yes.
You can make things happen. I got shot. Nigga.
Yes, I see.
I got shot in my motherfucking thumb.
That's what I heard.
And a lot of people don't believe me.
I believe you.
I don't believe that you believe me, Joe. That's what I believe,
I would say
That's
invisibility
not
would be
convincing.
sort
But
of
the
a
point
fun
I'm
to
making
have.
is,
Just to
like,
see
when I
what
got-
it was
when I
like
first
to
got
move
shot,
through
Joe,
the world and not be looked
I
at.
posted on Instagram. I didn't want to post on Instagram because I know that I didn't want to get no war in the streets going on. People like going out looking for the person that shot me in my thumb. So I kept it to myself. I didn't really bring it to people's attention. I posted one picture of me being in the hospital. Everybody's like, "You okay? You okay?" They don't know what I got shot for, but they instantly got connected to that story.
Did you ever think of not posting it? What made you decide to post it? The world needs to know.
The world needed to know
A little
some of the
bit?
gigs I had to postpone when I was shot up, not locked up. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I wasn't ready to share it to the world then. I didn't know how my friends were going to take it.
Okay.
Then I wanted to be transparent, to be honest, and let them know I got shot. That's what I did. You know?
I see.
You feel like you still don't believe me.
I do believe you. I think you're just looking for a very specific reaction from me.
I gave that up a long time ago, bro. I gave it up. I was like, whatever. That was what made me nervous the first time I came up. I'm like, what the fuck do I say? Say what you say, nigga. Don't try to. All right, I'm here.
You are here.
But
are you thinking about bailing out of LA yet?
I think so.
Yeah, a lot of people.
The reason that we started feeling when you don't really need Hollywood like that, you know.
I don't think anybody needs it anymore.
Some people thought they did. You're right. Some people thought they did. They thought it was like you had to be here every night.
I thought I needed to be there for a long time.
And then once what happened in this situation, then you realize, oh, what can I do? You're like, wait a minute. I really can make my own community.
Yes.
I can make my own community.
Not only that, you get connected to all the other communities, like and all the other podcasts. We all help each other. We're all together. I
will say one thing white people do when it comes to podcasts, they support each other.
Yeah, we support each other. But you know what, man? That's a new thing. Because in radio, it was the opposite. When they had radio, they'd attack each other. Like, I remember Opie and Anthony was always at war with Howard Stern. And, you know, Jay Leno was always at war with all the other late-night talk show hosts.
But did you think that made people engage? Do you think that made people engage with their platforms more?
No. They were just scared. Because they only had back in the day when you were on television or the radio, you had a very specific time slot. You had 6 a.m.
Day parts
to 10 a.m., right?
Day parts.
And other people are also on at 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. and no one's recording anything. So you have to listen to it live.
I was a part of that.
Television.
I was a part of that. I don't know if you. I was a part of when Hot 97 was the biggest and urban radio in New York was the biggest. And then I was doing radio when Power 105 came and became a competitor. They had no competition at first. You know, it was just them. Then they got challenged, and that's what made for interesting shit between both of them. Is like, yeah, we talk shit about 97.1, 97.5, then 105. Then you start listening to both of them to see what shit they're talking.
You could do that if you're them, or you could listen, and if you like it, tell people it's good. That's what podcasters do. Like, if I'm listening to your show, I'll tell people, Donnell Rollins' show is hilarious. Or listen to this guy, or listen to her, or listen to what I'll tell people I don't even fucking know, man. I tell people about podcasts that I listen to from NPR or fucking Radio Lab. I always tell people, because I'm interested in cool shit. I want to know about cool shit. And if I find cool shit, I want to tell other people about cool shit. I'm not worried.
Think that that's cool, though.
Well, they're worried about if they talk about something else, it's going to take opinions. It's going to take attention away from them. That's what's called famine thinking. You can never think famine. Feast or famine. I'm a feast thinker. I always think there's enough for everybody. Everybody come aboard. I want everybody to be happy. I want everybody to make money. I want everybody to be famous. I want everybody to be happy. I want them to be fulfilled. I don't want to be the man. That idea of being the man to me is ridiculous.
That's your idea, but on the outside of when you do stuff like that, for some people in their perception of you, that's what makes you the man. That's what makes you, if you're able to inspire and motivate, that's what makes you the man that, you say you're not.
Well, I'm happy if that's the case that people think that way, but
know it.
I'm in a position to be generous, so
they
I'm
know
generous.
it. They even
like
hold it against you, too.
It feels good to be generous.
But
they hold it against me. Who holds it against me?
People that don't like me.
They hold it against you that I have you on?
No, people that don't like me, they'll say
they hold it against me because you.
Like you.
Oh, because like the RZA podcast?
Jamie? Jamie, is that what he's talking about? No.
What are you talking about?
They'll
people
tell me.
Don't like you, don't know you.
Yeah, but like some people, they told me they wasn't going to like you anymore because you liked me.
Good luck. If that's how crazy you are.
They said they wasn't going to like you because you did.
But that's ridiculous. Anybody who thinks like that is out of their fucking mind.
They was like, they was saying shit like this, and I don't read the comments, Joe. They was saying shit like this. They was shit like, well, Joe was right up to this point. Yo, they like, you had a track record. Like, yeah, I believed everything said until he got loudmouth up there.
Here's the thing. I don't think anybody will ever understand the camaraderie that we all have, that comics have. Yep. It's a different world.
But the podcast world is totally different. Y'all motherfuckers, y'all motherfuckers. It's just like, but man, the podcast world is so fucking dope. And the podcast world was ready for the pandemic.
Yeah.
The podcast people was like this, what? Pandemic? I get to spend more time with my kids. I get to spend more time with my kids.
And you get to spend more time doing podcasts because everybody's free.
Yep.
Even if you have to do those stupid Zoom podcasts, you're still spending more time doing podcasts.
Yeah, but it's like, you figured out, like they knew it was going to happen before it fucking happened. I think I came in right at the right time.
I don't think they knew it was going to happen before it happened, but I think they got lucky. They got lucky that they were. Look, man, back when I was just dependent upon Hollywood and gigs, I'd be fucked right now. I'd have no income coming in.
But you saw the future too, son. I said this to you before. Like when you hear like Joe Rogan, you hear about this Spotify deal, and you hear about all this type of shit, blah 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 blah. And then you don't understand. Like I said, Joe, everybody wants to be you right now, but nobody wants to be you when people were saying no and equipment was breaking down and we didn't know we was going to do it.
Thing is, I didn't think about it that way. I didn't think like, I know this is going to blow up. I thought, I like doing this. I'm going to keep doing this.
So you just continue to have fun with
I just do what I like.
Right.
All the shit that I do, if you think about it, I just do what I like. Whether it's stand-up comedy, or whether it's UFC commentary, or whether it's doing a podcast, I do what I like. I don't think, oh, if I do this, it's going to be huge. I just do what I like.
Like that's the most empowering thing that is so hard. That's the most empowering thing that is so hard for people to feel comfortable enough to do it.
It's
what
hard,
they're like because to turn it into this motherfuckers is fuck bitches all the time. You know what I'm saying? They haven't figured out a way to get a W-9 or anything for it.
People get nervous about the future too. You gotta have enough confidence in yourself to take chances.
Do you think that there are a lot of pussies out here?
There's a lot of pussies out
Is
there.
our country pussy?
Our country has a lot of pussy in it because it's too easy to get by, and it's human nature to become soft when things are easy. And when you're in any sign of any kind of struggle whatsoever, that's when the real pussies emerge because they can't handle any pressure.
Or they go.
Well, you see
leave
them. You see how bad they are.
Yeah.
Because they fall apart.
Right.
Any adversity at all, anything. But this is beyond that now because of this.
It's not beyond that now, Joe. The reason why it's beyond that, this is the thing that this is a personality trait, or just as a side of, not to say that I'm a fan of Donald Trump or anything, but it was certain things that I could understand where the thought comes from, but how you articulate to people is all fucked up.
The way you articulate it to people is
it's like certain
terrible
people,
at it.
Certain people need filters. Certain people need, like Kanye West needs an interpreter.
You know what he needed? He needed a coach because someone coached him for that second Biden debate.
Right.
If you watch that second Biden debate, he was calm and cool, let Biden work himself up and stammer and lie about shit. And he still attacked him, but he attacked him in a different way. The first time he did it, he was obnoxious. He kept talking over him. He didn't let him talk.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. Everybody wanted to shut his mic off. But then someone must have coached him for this, or he realized himself.
Man, I'm gonna tell
take
you
a
the
different
difference.
approach.
I'm gonna tell you something. The difference. Whatever numbers you say, the loser of this election still won, breaking a record.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Second place was in first place.
Any
Any
other
other
time
time.
Yeah.
In history, it would have shitted on everything.
That's nuts. It shows everybody realize it's important to find when you realize that a guy like Donald Trump can become president, you realize, oh my God, it's actually important to vote.
Yo, bruh, it has to until you see those numbers. Yo, it was crazy. It was like in certain places separated by 5,000 votes.
I know.
10,000 votes.
Yeah, it was tight.
And you could say, here's the thing, you can make an argument. It could have went either way. Here's the situation. Man, Donald Trump, let it be known that he didn't give a fuck about anybody but his base.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's it. And I'm not saying if it's a numbers game, understand that. Like, there's a certain amount of people that will help you get elected. There's a certain amount of people. That's why you have strategists and shit. They'll be like, if we do this, we get these robocalls here and everything. It's a science to that. There's certain people that can help you get there.
Well,
but he never made
if he softened his approach up, I think the base would not have appreciated it.
That's the numbers.
It's like love him or hate him. It's very polarizing.
And to hate him works for a situation.
Whereas Biden, I don't think people love Biden.
Something has to be. I don't think they dislike him.
But they hate Trump. The people that voted for Biden hate Trump, most of them, or just feel like we just can't do this anymore. That's
the people that voted for Biden hate Trump.
But they're not excited about him the way they're excited about Obama or excited about Clinton or excited about a million other presidents in the past. Not a million.
But for the most part, every time it switches over, it's because somebody goes totally opposite of what was going on.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that, but it's usually bullshit.
It's bullshit, man. But I'm like, man,
these old stories that they're repeating over and over again. Biden is filling up his cabinet with all these billionaire hedge fund people's not hedge fund people,
but
like
think Biden
environment, like the guy that is involved in environmental. He just hired some guy that people are upset about. I don't know what color it is. I was reading about the environmental advisor.
That's important to me.
Because he worked for a fucking oil company.
The black part is important to me.
An environmental advisor was taking money from fossil fuel companies. And they're like, hey. This guy has ties to fossil fuels, and you're doing something with him that involves the environment. There could be a conflict of interest. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If he's a black guy.
Yeah, if he's a black guy.
We'll find out right now. I bet they probably listen. I think they're probably going to hire a lot of Republicans.
That's
really
what
do.
They did. They already started. Black guy.
They're gonna hire a lot of people that want to listen. And in their defense, they probably think some radical things need to be done to kickstart the economy right now. The economy's kind of fucked.
I agree, but I don't know how they're going to be able to work together.
I think they're all dirty, bro. They all work together. Yeah. Here he goes. Biden just appointed his climate movement liaison.
Black man, yes, told you, son.
It's a fossil fuel industry ally.
Black.
Yeah, there he is.
Black. Looking black as shit. That's all I need, Joe.
There you go. He raked in big money from fossil fuel industry while waiting to help oil and gas voting rather to help oil and gas companies.
Look how he's greeting him is different. Look, he's like
giving him knuckles. Hey, fella.
Yeah, my motherfucker.
There's a video of Lindsey Graham and Kamala Harris fist bumping each other. It's adorable.
Kamala Harris
reaching across the aisle.
That was a good move.
He's walking by, fist bumps her. Well, she's the only good move. She's strong. She was a district attorney. She got some questionable arrests on her.
Of course.
There's some shit that she did, imprisoning people and keeping them in prison to use them to fight wildfires and shit. But
in my community, I've heard people talk about her and everything. Like, wonder what you have trust in her, you believe in her. What I did believe in was when she got elected to be the first female vice president, first black president. Within a couple of days, the commercials I've seen on different urban platforms or just period. It's been, you see a little black girl, right, looking up to something,
We see that shadow with her standing there and the little black girls in the shadow.
Black girls in the shadow. But the little girls that they're showing, it's like this.
You could be that person.
They feel black girl joy. They see something that's...
She also, she didn't
and
just...
I know she put motherfuckers
but she didn't do just bad things. She did a lot of good things. She prosecuted a lot of child sex predators, a lot of pieces of shit, a lot of bad people. She wasn't just... the situations where people should have been let out of jail and weren't. But there's also This is the thing that we have to realize when it comes to district attorneys and just attorneys and prosecutors and defense attorneys in general. They're trying to win a game, and it gets dirty. When
I tell you what, my
they're trying to prosecute
experience?
people, you haven't yet, but I'm sure you will.
Sorry, go
but
ahead.
when you're trying
I'm
to
getting
prosecute
better.
people or defend people, the people defend people they know are fucking guilty, and they'll keep shit from the prosecution even though they know they're defending a guilty person. They do it all the time.
So they
and
just
people
defending law.
prosecute people that they're not sure are guilty. And they'll pretend they're sure that that person's guilty because they want to win. And they'll withhold information that could potentially exonerate that person because they're playing a game. When you let people play a game, anytime you let people play a game and someone's trying to win, they cheat. They try to figure out a way to do better than you with influence, by withholding things, by holding things back. They know this judge. They're tight with this lawyer.
Right.
They try to win a game. You've made it a game. So you got a prosecutor and you got a defense attorney. So you got two competing forces. You're always going to have lies
100%.
because people play games. So that was the business she's in. Her saying,
But as you
us
said it,
saying
Joe,
that
that's
she
the
did
business.
this. It's like
But that was the-
that's her business.
That's her business, and they are a business of words. Like you're saying, there's
Well,
no
she's in the
personal
business
connection.
of laws.
How do I
she
win with
particularly?
laws? But laws
Yeah.
are the word. How do I win with these words right here?
Right.
No
Okay.
matter what you
Right.
think, how do I win with this? Come on, Kamala, you know that's not right. We're not talking about right. We're talking about what we can prove. And that's what law is all about, right?
Well, that is, if you are a defense attorney, that's your job, is to protect somebody and try to get them off, even if they might be guilty. And if you're a prosecutor, your job is to prosecute somebody. Your job is not to go, hey, we might be wrong. Your job is not to go, hey, let's hold. But the shady shit is when you don't play by the rules and you withhold information or withhold evidence. And people have done that in the past, and that's when things get real squirrely. Because, like, okay, now you're not playing the game. You're using your unfair advantage
But
of being
nothing
able to suppress.
surprises you. Nothing
suppress it.
surprises
no,
you.
No, it doesn't surprise me. But what I'm saying is it doesn't make a person all bad.
Right.
Like, she's not all bad. Like, she's done a lot of very good things.
That's
And I read an article about all the different things she did, including the different things that she did that a lot of people thought were bad, like
But what was her job?
threatening moms with they would go to jail if their son was truant. But it turns out no one ever went to jail. It was a threat, and obviously it's terrifying to be a single mom and think you might get put in jail because your son is just running around and doesn't show up at school because you work 2 jobs trying to put food on the table. But nobody ever actually did get arrested and went to jail.
Yeah, because it's gonna be too hard to prove that shit, man. And some people, and in some cases, some people are. And I don't know if this was the case. Some people are too lazy in certain situations too.
Well, I'm saying it's not a good idea to threaten a mother because she's a single mom trying to get by and her son is not going to school. It's not good to threaten her with jail time. But sometimes people
stopped it, though,
make
didn't it?
decisions. Yeah,
It
sometimes
stopped.
people make decisions, like drastic decisions like that. And maybe at the time they had a perspective that's different than the perspective that they have now.
It's called evolution.
I want everybody to have I want them to have a clean slate. Biden and Harris are in there now. I think clean slate. Forget about, but let's
See what can
let's
happen.
see what they can do.
The best thing
See
is
who the people they put into office, all the cabinet. Let's give them a chance. We want them to do well. This is what was so fucked up about Trump being in office.
I don't
so
think
many
those people wanted
hated
him to do well. You're right.
exactly. So many people hated him. They really would rather the country do bad under him. Because if the country was killing it under him, he's like, look, it's killing it. I'm the best. I told you. Then everybody's like, fuck.
Right.
At least, maybe, please, even Trump supporters, go into this one with a different attitude. Let's all together say we want the best for America. What's done is done. The election's over. Maybe you were a Tulsi Gabbard fan like myself. Maybe you like Bernie Sanders like myself. But maybe you like fucking Jeb Bush.
Yang Gang.
Yang Gang. I love Yang Gang. I love Andrew Yang. He's an awesome guy. I love a lot of his ideas.
Right.
But for now, we know where it is. It's Biden and Harris.
But them niggas
want
mad,
them to
Joe.
be
Them
the best.
motherfucking Trump. You got different level of Trumpers.
Well, there's a
And
lot
I'm
of
not-
people that think
They're
it's,
some mad as a motherfucker that don't want to hear shit, son.
part of the problem is he's telling them that's a rigged election. He's telling them
That's
it's
what's
a
so
rigged election.
fucked up.
But part of the problem is all elections have some corruption. They just fucking do. They've been around
But
forever.
not enough for you to say, nigga, when you leaving, nigga?
I don't think there's
Did he keep his secrets and shit, Joe?
Well, Mike Baker, who used to be in the CIA, was on here.
Mike Baker or your Baker?
Mike,
Pastry?
his name is Mike Baker.
Oh, I thought you said
he was
my
in the
Baker.
CIA,
Okay.
and he came on the podcast recently. He was telling me that even if they did overturn it, even if they did rather like find corruption, the amount of votes you're talking about in most of these states,
It's not enough.
It's not enough.
Right,
Not
that's
nearly
what I'm
enough.
saying.
But it would have to be crazy corruption.
Yeah, like these motherfuckers talking about 5 or 6 people, bro.
Yeah.
And that's the petty shit.
No, it's not 5 or 6 people.
Every time they use
got
an
I think they
hundreds. Where are
uncovered.
hundreds?
They uncovered 2 different things today in, I want to say it's Michigan, where they found a memory card that had more votes for Trump than Biden, but it was close. It was like 1,000 for Biden and 1,000, a few hundred for Trump, like 400 or 500 for Trump.
Where'd they get the memory card from, son?
I do not know.
Come on, Joe.
I think there's a lot of
nigga could have showed up and nigga
unorganization.
could have brought up any memory card. So motherfuckers hand you a memory card.
Someone who's counting votes got the memory card from the machines.
Who told you that story?
This is in the news.
Which news outlet?
It was in 3 or 4 different ones that I saw.
And they all said the same thing.
Well, they all said that there was a memory card that was discovered, and they showed the counts in the memory card. But they've also found like other ballots that didn't get counted yet. There's just a lot of disarray. You're dealing with human beings that are counting millions of votes. Millions, and they're counting a lot of them just paper. They're getting mail, and they're opening it up, and they have to find out.
This is what I didn't understand. This is what I understand, Joe. This was so funny. It kind of like backfired, right? That the mail-in votes is what killed Trump. That's what they're saying.
Yes.
For the most part. And the funny thing about it, Trump has the type of following that he literally could tell them to do anything, they're going to do it. He told motherfuckers not to mail in.
Yeah. Well, he wanted to make a point. Come in person. Well, this is the
But how do you
right?
make that, Joe, answer this question. How do you make that point? I understand making that point when you're not in the middle of a fucking pandemic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that would have been a great argument in 16.
Especially for old folks, right?
For anybody
Right.
that wants to participate, but the only thing they would stop them is if they're going to go outside and risk their lives.
Right.
So you're not thinking to give that person the opportunity to be a part of it?
Yeah.
And that's the part that kind of fucked it up.
Well, I don't know if he definitely wanted people to vote in person, but did he ever encourage people to vote by mail as well? Or was he was always saying that mail was going to get a fraud?
Son,
right?
This whole shit was crowds. I'm like, nigga, somebody, Secret Service, break the secret. Tell this motherfucker that, somebody tell this motherfucker that the corona is out here.
He caught it. He knows it was out there.
This nigga caught it, right, and gave all the Secret Service it.
You give a lot of people
Secret Service can't say nothing because they Secret Service. They got to keep it a secret.
I'm sure they're young and healthy, too. They probably shook it off pretty easy.
Decided people don't know.
They probably got the same medicine he got, you know.
The medicine is probably, a lot of that medicine is called your immune system being up to par. As much as like everybody is talking about this shit, it's the lazy route. No one wants to say.
There's a little bit of that, but they also gave him a bunch of experimental shit. They gave him this antibody blood transfusion medication. They gave him, what was it called? Regeneron? Is that what it's called, Jamie? They gave him some other, I don't know if it's experimental or if it's like recently been released. They gave him that medication. They gave him a steroid. They gave him a bunch of different things all at once. So he got a cocktail shit that made him feel great.
I was getting ready to say, not only that, son, how much is that cocktail? That's not no easy cocktail.
It's not cheap. And he wants that to be able to be given to everybody. But I don't know if that's feasible at the moment. Like they got to make those doses. Well, it's not just to make the money, just to make the doses. Like say if they have all that medication and all that blood antibody medication and all this different stuff they're going to give him, the steroids, to make that for 300 million people, that's so many people. So if everybody gets sick, you have a dose. We have one dose for every human being in this country. Even if you have one dose for half the people.
You can get it done if your money is right. It's all.
You need 300 million vials of this shit. That's so much.
You're not going to need all of those.
And probably more than that because probably multiple vials per person.
They wouldn't even make that number for everybody to get one. They would make that number like it's got to be that number's gonna be broken down by what's the criteria to get this? You know what I'm saying?
Well, also it would be how many people do we really want to get it to? Because how many people are going to be sick at any one given time? It's probably never going to be more than 25% of the population, even if it's high.
But even if it comes out, Joe, motherfuckers, I'm telling you, certain motherfuckers are not taking that vaccine for whatever reason.
Yeah, I think
the black
you're right.
community is they not niggas ain't fuck with no vaccine too. It's like an iPhone, son. You need the third one. No black person is going to take it.
I think there's a lot of people that are not going to take it, but I think what they think is herd immunity. Once we get to 50% of the people that took it, the virus will probably die off. I think it's going to be in that neighborhood of 50% of the people that had it. if either 50% of the people either have had COVID or have the vaccine for COVID, they think we can hit herd immunity and it'll mostly die off. But it could always kick back in again. That's what they're worried about, that it's going to be like the common cold or the flu every year.
Would you take a vaccine?
Yeah,
You
for
would?
sure, if it works. Yeah. If it's been proven that it works, and I talk to doctors and they explain what the science is and how it works, and then I talk to people that have taken it and they say, what the side effects are, because with the COVID vaccine, I think the side effects are you feel like shit for a couple days.
Who can't deal with feeling like shit for a couple?
Yeah,
How
that's what I'm
happy
saying.
are you when you can't lose 2 days?
Yeah. I would definitely do it if I thought it was safe. I don't know enough about it right now to say that I think it, that was one of the things that Nicholas Christakis was talking about yesterday. He was talking about the potential dangers for the vaccine, and I appreciate that he brought that up because it's such a sensitive area for people. They think that if you think there's a danger in any kind of vaccine, you're some sort of anti-vaxxer. No, there's a potential for danger of any medication when you're dealing with mass numbers of human beings. If you have 300 million people and you give them aspirin, I don't know what percentage, but some people are going to die from aspirin, or they're going to get really sick from aspirin. It's the same with everything. Substances you put in people's bodies, everybody reacts differently. People die from fucking Brazil nuts. There's some.
Yeah, but
big
them
deal.
motherfuckers want to waste time with these home remedies and shit, man. Them home remedies, they're cool for some people, but eventually, man, you're going to have to talk to somebody.
Yeah, for sure. If you got a real disease, if you the people that want to cure like cancer by not going to a doctor, like, whoa, they can fix it now. Like,
Right.
There's a lot of cancers, not all of them, of course, but there's a lot of you're way better off having cancer now with modern medicine than you were having it 15, 20 years ago. That said, all that remedy shit, all that, like, the best remedy for all this, besides the medicine if you actually get sick, is to fucking take care of yourself.
Right.
That's what I'm hoping people get out of this. More
I don't
people
understand why
take
people
care
ignore
of
that.
themselves.
Yeah, I don't
It's
understand.
easy. It's
During this
convenient.
time, I don't understand how you could ignore that.
Because it's convenient. As long as you're not sick, you don't think you're going to get sick.
Right.
You stay home. If you don't have to go anywhere, you just stay home. And a lot of people just stop exercising. They stop eating well. They stop drinking water, and they fuck their body up. And then if something does, you don't realize like how much of a difference it makes in being healthy and not being healthy when something hits you, a virus hits you, a cold hits you. You see, like when
I got shot, son,
there you go.
I had to get the IV. I had to get the fucking IV antibiotics.
Well, you guys get IVs all the time. You're always doing vitamin IVs on tour, right?
Vitaflow.
And,
It's a company.
That's such a good move.
It is. You did it too.
When we did that, that was the first time I'd ever done that.
Really?
Vitamin IV, yeah. Maybe I'd done one
but
once
you
before
was
then.
on it hard, son.
Oh, I'm on it hard
Yo,
now.
you had everything open. You was like, give me one right here. You had half your ass out, son.
I'm like, what you got? She
Yo,
gave me
you
a
was
B12
like-
shot in my ass.
And I saw your ass.
Yeah.
I was sitting right there. I was like, nigga, take that shit across the street. He had his fucking stomach out and his ass out. I was like,
I'm not scared.
I know you're not.
We're
It was
friends.
like, wow.
Yeah, well, the glutathione was amazing. That stuff is great. The vitamin drip was amazing. We started getting them every week. We slacked off though once we got here to Texas. We haven't been doing it in Texas.
And that motherfucker, I'm telling you about when I did Yellow Springs this summer. That was probably
Down through its history,
one of the
only
things
3
that
people have managed to
made
silence
that
the Americana.
experience so
The
amazing
Pope,
is
Frank
that we were
Sinatra,
living in our own
and
bubble
me.
and playing by our own rules, and everybody was having a good time, and it was all productive.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
it worked. It
It was
worked.
fucking
You guys put on a lot of shows.
adult summer camps. son.
Yeah. It's
It was like-
beautiful.
The shows were one thing, but the thing that was great for me was just the whole sense of community. You know what I'm saying?
Multitudes,
Like, we would have potlucks and
multitudes
shit,
in the
and then
valley of
I
decision.
would have all the
For the day
housewives
of
of
the
Yellow
Lord is
Springs,
near.
like, ascend. Yo,
Decision.
them motherfuckers out there, them motherfucking Yellow Spring chicks, wives, they won't get upset with anything but a casserole dish, son. Like, they was looking for a Rachel Ray casserole dish I had for like a week. They was stalking where I was living and everything. But the sense of community, man, is like, in that area, there's one coffee shop, Dino's, everybody go there. There's one grocery store. It's just one of everything.
That's nice.
And it was so simple.
Well, that's better, really. Than there's real good things about cities, but the thing that's missing is that camaraderie, that sense of community.
Nature.
Yeah.
City slickers. They were calling me a city slicker.
I saw the videos of you in the river. You guys.
Yo, Joe, it was the whitest, greatest adventure of the summer. I became the river nigga, right? That's the original name. I'm telling you the truth, son. But
Look
yo,
at you.
listen,
You look
son.
so peaceful.
I am at peace, son. Listen, Joe. I first.
What does it say on the quote there? Forever mood. River bitches love the river ninja.
They do, son. Bitches love me out there, son. All them earthy bitches that got quartz and rocks and shit, son. Yo, I'm talking about bitches, farmers market bitches out there like me.
I understand what you're saying.
They love me, like women with rescue dogs.
That's a great picture, man. Jamie,
Look how peaceful I was, son. I was a river nigga. I had to change the name, Joe.
Get that picture framed. I need that picture. Let's get that picture printed on steel.
Yo,
Who took the photograph?
Federico. Federico, did I tag him?
Yeah.
Where's
There
Federico?
he is. Get a hold of Federico. We need that picture in the studio.
Yo, he's such a talented fucking producer and everything.
Beautiful.
Man.
But that would be a great picture to frame in here.
Yo, I fell in love. Joe, people think it's a
The
joke.
river.
Like
It's
first,
nature.
Are you gonna let me describe me?
Yeah, I'll let you.
First name that came up with
A
Joe,
famous
it was River Nigga, right? And I like that for the streets, right? But people's like, I don't know if we can put that on T-shirts. So they're looking at it from a market branding point, right? And I was like, okay, ninja, you know what I mean? But he's inspired by the River Nigga. But ninja's for TV.
There's many layers to the story.
Many layers to it.
Do you fish?
I fish.
Did you go fishing at all when you guys were down
I
there?
didn't get a good chance to go fishing there, but this was me at a river in Georgia, son. It's a
Changes your mind,
waterfall.
right?
It's everything. Son.
Changes your mind. When you buy a waterfall, you're like, oh, there's something about these natural things like mountains.
Nature,
or
nigga.
ocean.
Nature,
Yep,
nigga.
yep,
Nature.
Yep.
Nature free as shit, son.
Yep. It's good for you.
Look at me, son. Let me tell you. I know exactly. They said, when did I turn into a river nigga, right? They said, when did I turn? When do I remember to change, right? It was when.
Look at that waterfall, man. That's crazy.
Yo, let me tell you the story, son. So, when we were out there, Chappelle's wife used to make these events. Hey, it's family walk day. I'm like, man, fuck that. I'm from the streets. I'm not doing all that stupid shit. She had all these days, like, every day had a goddamn adventure or a star. What's today? You got to look at the little brochure and shit. And then one day she did one and was kayaking, right? And I went on this kayak. It was me and my man Patrick. He's in Yellow Spring. He's a Yellow Spring native, whatever. And we were going down the river, Mad River. I had a kayak. He had a kayak. We were smoking a joint. And we just hear nature. It's like just straight nature, right? And then he said, man, you know what this reminds me of? He said, this reminds me of when I was younger, building ramps, jumping ramps on my bike, and me fishing for crawdads with my dad. And I was like, nigga, this reminds me of looking for my dad. His stories, the two stories were totally opposite. It represented one thing for him. Memories he had with his dad. For me, it represented the memories I didn't have with my dad and the memories I wanted to create with my son. You know what I'm saying? When I was out there, Joe, all I'm thinking was like, I got to bring this little motherfucker to the river. He's got to be out here. He's got friends out there. And my son came out there, and the summer was beautiful. But one thing was this, no matter how you're celebrating in life, right? If you're not sharing it with your family, it feels weird.
Yeah.
You know, it feels like, oh, man, I don't really know if it's fair for me to have this much fun. And although how great the summer was going, when it came out, he was hanging with me on the river and shit, man. It was like the best shit ever. Son, we were skipping. Jamie, you know how to skip rocks? Of course. Do you know how to skip?
Yeah.
It's in the wrist, right?
I was in the Boy Scouts.
Yo, don't say you're in the Boy Scouts today, son.
Why?
They might have played with your booty holes, son. Yo, there's a lot of them, man. Don't tell me. Don't be proud of the Boy Scouts. Pick another division, son, not the Boy Scouts. But
Nothing ever happened to my booty hole. I had a great time. I hung out with a bunch of criminals.
That's what you do in the Boy Scout.
Yeah.
We were skipping rocks. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know it was that much precision.
It
And
depends
skipping
on
a
the
rock.
rock. Like, you really want a nice flat rock.
A nice
if you
flat
get
rock.
a flat rock, you could do some wild shit.
When we were going out every day, Talib Kweli, right? He thinks he's a river nigga, right? He told us one day, I could skip any rock. You know what
Any
type
rock.
of? He said no matter how big it is, I could skip any rock.
That doesn't seem likely.
That's the fucking Brooklyn cockiness he had, right?
Yeah.
It was just like, tush, tush, tush. It was like, tush, tush. The next time we went, he wants to challenge me in rock skipping again. This time, this motherfucker was pulling rocks out of his shorts.
He had rocks with him already? He prepared? Wow.
Joe,
Invasive rocks.
He came with flat river rocks.
Oh, that's crazy.
He didn't bend over.
Is there a world championship of rock skipping? It seems like people would take it super seriously.
I think it would. I think it's something to think. I'm pretty sure it's done somewhere.
I've never thought about it to this moment, but I'm sure there's got to be a competition. A rock skipping competition.
And they got groupie bitches.
Like the girls who, it's off season for bowling, so they go after rock skippers.
Yeah, we heard you had a 10 skipper last week. A 10 skipper could get you a blowjob, son. That's gonna get you some WAP. If you're looking for WAP, do a 10 skipper, son.
Skipper.
You know what WAP is, right?
I do. Yeah.
Who educated you to it? Because I don't think, no disrespect to your hip hop or whatever. Someone introduced you to WAP.
I don't know. It might have been Jamie. Was it you? Could be.
Yeah, because of the Ben Shapiro video.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Which was it?
Because Ben Shapiro, it was like, you know, when some people self-own, they don't realize they're self-owning.
Right.
When, you know, the song's about wet-ass pussy, he's like, well, that sounds like a gynecological condition.
I would tend to...
And people are like, what?
But
that's not the point, Ben.
I know the point is, but I understand that that's like...
horny.
I understand this point. That's an abnormal amount of moisture.
Yes.
To be able to come up with a whole song about it, it's like, it's a level...
What do you think would happen if you came out with a song called Hard Ass Dick?
I want to do it.
Would not be received that well. With as minimal controversy as Wet Ass
Certain
Pussy.
songs got to be answers.
Right.
Like answers to a song.
To Wet Ass Pussies.
K. Michelle had a song, You Can't Change a Man, right? Mm-hmm. And I flipped it and did a song called You Can't Raise a Bitch. You Can't Save a Bitch. That was the name of the song. Can't Save a Bitch.
Do you remember when they used to have songs and then they would have answer songs and then like there's been a bunch of those, right? Where someone would have a song and then someone would have a response song to that
song. Like Scrubs.
Yes.
They had Scrubs then they had another one. It was I can't remember, but I know you
wasn't I Saw You Standing in the Rain. Wasn't there one of those?
Orange Juice Jones.
Wasn't there an answer song to that?
If I know any
Orange
answer to
Juice
that,
Jones.
if I know any answer to that, just immediately told how old I am. To know Orange Juice Jones and how cool he was.
Orange Juice Jones was shit. That song was the best at a time. That was an original kind of song. There'd never been a song that told the whole story of getting done wrong like that.
Especially it didn't tell in the rain.
Right.
Like everybody knows that story, but you followed this couple in the rain.
Yeah. And then at the end, when he chops
got
up
back
her credit
with
cards.
revenge. Yeah. That's like, he's like, go on, bitch, get out of here. He had his credit cards and everything.
Yeah. That was a song that made people happy.
Hey, Joe, I came over here. I'm not selling shit, but I do. Joe,
you got more stuff?
Yeah, look, you remember this, right? Remember my black ash, right?
Yes.
All right, here, that's the re-up.
Thank you. Re-ups. We kept the other one in California because we weren't sure if we were going to be going back and forth.
Yeah, you got that one. Look at this one right here. There's some hoes in this house candle. That's for a holiday, Joe.
It's a ho hose. Not like HOE. There's some hoes in this house candle. That's a
look at this one though, Joe. Because I fell in love with Yellow Spring. That's one of my top sellers, Joe.
Oh, Yellow Spring Candle. From the streets to the creeks.
From the hood to the woods. From whores to oars. From Adidas to Tivas, son. I got a whole story. Boom. And this for the white chicks out there, because I got a lot of white bitches out there now.
Okay, Karen Candle. Imagine if your name was Karen and you were fine for
Joe,
like 30 years.
Joe, there's more. Look at this, son. That's a
I feel like
bag,
all of a sudden
son.
we turn into the Home Shopping Network.
That's what I wanted to avoid, Joe. But at the same time, I opened up an online store, son, and it's doing well.
Okay. Do you have a website that we could just put up on screen instead of like bringing all these objects out one after another?
Joe, you call it. No, listen.
Oh, you have like a little thing. You scan with the phone.
You call them objects.
Dude.
I don't call it objects.
Products.
Man, give me my candle back, man.
What is it if it's not a product?
No, just if you don't want them, Joe, give them
back. I do.
You gonna use them?
I'll definitely use them.
All right.
I like candles.
Those are good too, and they're soy too.
They're soy.
Yeah, they're hand poured in the
USA. You can have them back. I'm not into. I don't do anything with soy.
It's a candle, man. Don't disrespect that. People want that.
People get mad at soy. Soy is like a political fruit or a vegetable.
Is it?
Yeah. People call you a soy boy. If you're a Republican, people call weak men soy boys. That's like it's an insult.
I never knew that.
Soy is one of the rare foods that's actually attached to being a bitch.
That's a pussy food?
Yeah, like if you're a guy who's really into soy, and this is not my perspective. This is just, I just think it's a plant. It doesn't matter.
Right.
It's isn't that edamame? Isn't that soy? Like when you have edamame at a Japanese restaurant, isn't it soy?
Yes.
Yeah. Is that the case, Jamie?
The first time I ever tried edamame, I was so ghetto.
Did you eat the whole thing?
Yeah, and I was like, my throat was killing me, son.
The best part is the outside.
I didn't know anything about it. Goddamn
salt and everything on the outside.
The sea salt, some sea salt.
If you had a bowl of just edamame,
it takes away from it.
You wouldn't even want it.
It's the whole process.
Yeah.
It's the whole process of like ripping a sleeve.
Edamame beans are whole, immature soybeans, sometimes referred to as vegetable-type soybeans. They're green and different color from regular soybeans, which are typically light brown, tan, or beige.
Better this malefactor.
I like edamame. I don't mind soy, but a lot of people think of soy as being like bitch food.
I never knew that. I thought it was a healthy. I mean, I knew that it's not the most masculine food, but I thought it was like you stepped your game up. When you enter the edamame lane, it's like, oh shit, this motherfucker eat edamame now.
I think there's a reason. I think soy lowers your testosterone.
I think there's like estrogen stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, soy isoflavones can produce estrogen-like activity in the body, mimicking the effects of natural estrogen. Yeah, but I think
you can grow titties off of soy.
Not quite, but it might feminize you. It might feminize you.
Fuck
plants,
soy, man.
Plants affect your hormone production. Do you know they actually develop testosterone, like synthetic testosterone, from wild yams? Like plants, yeah.
From wild yams.
Wild yams, yeah. That's how they develop some artificial testosterone or exogenous testosterone.
I would think that would be part of the whole Cialis and blue pill era.
That's a different thing, though. That's just blood flow. That's nitrous oxide.
So why is nobody promoting wild
Not
yams?
nitrous oxide. Nitrous. What is it? Nitric oxide. That's like NO explode. All those pump things you do when you want to get jacked when you're lifting weights. A lot of those supplements, they mimic the same sort of effect, just not to the same degree as like finasteride, like Viagra and Cialis and shit like that. But they don't make you have more testosterone. What these like soybeans, and I think really for it to affect your hormones, I think it's just like it's a possibility like chemically. But in order to actually do it, I think you'd have to eat some fucking preposterous number of soybeans. I don't think it's like something people really have to worry about. It. No, I don't think it's anything anybody really has to worry about. But I think it's just a stereotype.
I didn't even know that the thing was just odd for me. I didn't even know the stereotype.
Yeah, they call people soy boys.
I didn't know that. I thought it was like you're evolving as a food. You know, like the first time I had it, I was like, oh shit, I don't know about the edamames. Because I was introducing somebody else to it, but I didn't know that it symbolized being a pussy.
It doesn't. It's silly. People are silly. Tastes good. Yeah, edamame tastes good. They do it right. Put a little chili powder and salt on the outside.
I like it with just sea salt.
I like sea salt too.
I'm working at a stadium, Joe.
Are you really?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
RFK Stadium.
Where's that?
In Washington, D.C.
When are you doing that?
Thanksgiving weekend.
Oh, shit.
It's not the stadium. It's the parking lot, right?
You doing like an outdoor show?
I'm doing an outdoor show.
Just like the ones that Bert's been doing.
Yeah, but it's not at that level. Yeah, I talked to Bert about that. Shout out to Bert and shout out to the cab.
Bert is the guy who started it all off. People aren't giving him enough credit. He's the OG of drive-thru.
Yeah,
Bert was the guy.
It fit right into his whole shit.
He never stopped touring. Bert toured through the entire pandemic doing drive-thrus.
And I was saying to myself, is this like a throwback Thursday or whatever? He was like this. And then the name of, what was the name that did it?
Created a bubble, stayed drunk the entire summer.
And enjoyed it.
Had a good time.
I'm doing RFK Stadium. It's the original stadium for the Washington Redskins. The Washington Redskins used to do that.
Beautiful.
But for 9 years, that was my traditional show at the DC Improv. I would do Thanksgiving weekend. It was a good time for me because I got to see my family. I got to work.
That's a great club too.
It's a great club.
That DC Improv is one of the 10 greatest clubs in the country.
And it's been probably the most consistent for 25 years.
So good. It's just the perfect size, perfect. Everything about it's perfect.
And they get every year solid. I don't even know that a comic can do bad in terms of ticket sales there. Everybody seems to do well, at least the lineup that they have.
They book good lineups.
Right.
Like when a club's got that much prestige, they've been around that. There's certain clubs like Comedy Works where people just trust them, you know? There's a bunch. Helium in Philly. People just trust them. This is going to be a good show. They're not going to book any scrubs.
Right.
And that's how the DC Improv has felt. Like they have developed a community.
And for 9 years, I saw my son I remember the first time I took him up, it was just him in my arms. And then the next time he was kind of like crawling. Then next time he was walking. Then he walked to the stage. I had like 4 years of pictures of his growth there. And then because of the pandemic, I thought the weekend was going. I'm like, damn, that blows the tradition. Yeah. And then they made a pivot from the DC Improv to partnering up with DC Pull Up or whatever it is. And they doing the fucking outside shit.
That's beautiful. I like that people are adapting. That's one of the things you were saying. Like, you started this business, and Bert started doing things outside, and Tom Segura's doing, like, these pay-per-view shows. Right. Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer are doing these, and sometimes Christina, they switch up back and forth.
Right.
They're doing these crazy live shows.
I saw.
The shit that he sends me, I mean, I'll show it to you after the show. The things that they can... See, during these live shows, it's 100% uncensored because it's pay-per-view. So they don't have to worry about YouTube. They don't have to worry about...
It's whatever.
They are showing the most fucked up videos I have ever seen in my life.
Oh.
In my life.
Really?
In my life. Like, he sent me 3 things yesterday that changed my idea of what's possible.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
You going to do it?
Do one of his shows?
Yeah.
I would certainly do it if we were in town together. And he's, Tom's talking about moving here. If he moves here.
Everybody niggas moving out here.
Yeah. Well,
you got the whole squad coming back here.
We're going to open up a club here.
I'm down, son.
Come on down. It's better here. You don't have to pay taxes for the state. People are nicer. The
They
barbecue's
said that
off the hook.
on the streets, they said Joe ain't stupid, son. The street said that nigga said, I'm getting the fuck up out of here, son.
Well, I saw the writing on the wall. I'm like, they're not going to open up the clubs. If you don't have a comedy club open, I can't stay. If the Comedy Store was open, there would be no reason for me to leave LA.
I know, but then at the same on the flip of that, just because it's not open, there's no reason for you to
be in LA.
Be that
you can create it. Well, the only time I could create it though is in an absence of the club. So, because I wouldn't ask people, hey, leave LA. The Comedy Store's hopping and killing. Come to Austin. But when you can't open, they can't. They're not allowing them to open, and it could be years. Who the fuck knows now?
I know.
Right here we are now, 8 months in. No one ever. We thought it was 2 weeks. But do you remember when you thought it was 2 weeks?
So it was 2 weeks. But then again, even moving forward, Joe, you got to remove the possibility of something taking. You got to remove yourself from the possibility of somebody taking something away from you. And like with me,
that,
like the way you're thinking, and the way Dave has thought throughout this summer, I was like, yo, we really can make this shit.
Well, also, what we were saying before, that we were all connected to Hollywood because we thought we needed Hollywood in order to get us on television, in order to pay our bills. We needed to get hired. And then once podcasting came along, I think people realized, no, you don't. You just need your friends. And you have a bunch of funny friends, and everybody's tight, and everybody tells people, hey, go see, Theo Vaughn's at this place. Go see this guy. Go see that guy. And we all get along together. We don't need anybody else.
But Joe, the toughest part, what did I notice in this podcast world, which is predominantly white, that's the truth of it. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's a lot more white guys than podcasts. When it comes to that, when you say like the friendship part and making money, they really, about that life, they really do it.
Yeah.
They really do it. They don't talk about it. Every one of the guys that I've done, from D'Elia, from Bobby, from the whole crew, it's never oh man. It's like
everybody helps everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody's friendly. And there's only a few people in the podcast world that don't have friends. They're weirdos.
Who are they?
I don't know. They're out in the
fringes. Gotta have names.
They're out in the fringes.
All right.
Those poor people. A lot of people go into things with like a legacy attitude. And the legacy attitude that from radio is you're competing against the other people that are doing the same thing.
Right.
But the podcast world is not like that. But some people are like that. Like some people will complain if a guest is on this podcast and then on their podcast. They'll complain. Like you were just on that podcast. Now it's going to take away from people listening to me.
Nigga, I got more shit to talk about.
Exactly.
You ain't got no life.
Well, not
Yo,
only that,
I never
it's
understood
crazy.
that, son. They like, I'm like, nigga, every podcast I go on, it's talking about something else.
Not only that, but if you go
Or
on a
this is
podcast
interesting
and they like you,
conversation.
if you go on a podcast and they like you, and then I hear now you're going to go on Bobby's podcast, I'm going to watch you on that podcast too.
Right.
Because it's not like I'm going to, like, I do one podcast and now I'm out of time.
Not only that, but
I have more time. You're going to have another week is going to go by where you want something to listen to. And then more people are going to listen to you on Bobby's if they heard you on somebody else's.
And here's the thing, Joe. If you're interested enough for motherfuckers want to listen to you.
Yes.
That's it. If you could do it. The toughest part this week literally is, I think, the anniversary of the first time I've ever was on this show.
Really?
I think it's this week. I heard those fingers, son. My producers don't do that. Them bitches be looking me right in my face.
Yeah.
I be trying to. It is, right?
Yeah, I guess. What was that one? You were on before that, right? February 19th. No, you were on before that one.
That before that one? No, this
So
is
it's
the first one we
the-
talked about the RZA shit. That was that one.
That was a year ago this week.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
when.
November 12th.
So, but you've been on longer.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
From the last one.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So I know you guys want to break down the story. It's not that sentimental, but I was just saying I remember the dates.
Yeah. No, I get
It
it.
was that. And it's been like, it's been.
We
for a
find
year,
everywhere
and
men
it's
of
been it's been interesting.
It happens, right? It picks up steam, it picks up momentum. I see on your Instagram stories you're putting, or your Instagram rather, you're putting clips up,
The little assets
get
and
people
shit.
excited. Yeah.
Yeah, but you like everything you said. It was like once I got out of the mode, like I'm like, this have to be the greatest episode. I'm like, wait a minute, and I started looking at the numbers of the most successful people in the podcast world. This is like episode 1,582.
That's a lot.
Yo, son, and
Just
I'm
have
struggling
fun.
for like, this is the 30 episode anniversary.
Well, you know how Goggins tells everybody he used to be fat? I tell everybody, go to episode 1. It's fucking terrible.
Right.
It's terrible. We didn't even think it was a podcast.
You
That's
didn't know
how
what it was,
terrible
but you
was.
did it.
We were doing it with just answering questions off of Twitter and being stupid while we were high. No one thought it was ever going to be something that millions of people listened to.
Right.
So when we started it out, it wasn't, there was no expectations. Now
Right.
people have expectations.
They want to be.
Now you realize like how much money is in it. You see all these people that get big deals. You see all these people that are number 1 on iTunes and number 2 on fucking Spotify, and you go fuck. Like
Right.
there's a lot going on. This is a whole network that you
Man.
don't need a lot to get into.
Man, the number one thing you have to do, and I kept tricking myself, and we had talked about it, was talking. Can you talk?
That's
And-
ridiculous that you don't think that you could talk. It's one of the most funny things I've ever heard.
Son, I mean, with no response, just like me
Oh.
talking to myself.
That's easy.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, I got a better chance of making 1,000 people laugh than one person.
True. Yeah.
But it's been a great ride, man. My dude Deary over there, Julius.
You know who's the best at just talking? Bill Burr. That motherfucker
I know.
he never has a dead moment. He will start on a subject and and then you know what they want to fucking do, and then next thing you
But
know,
I used to
an
before-
hour later.
He was one of the guys that had it. I was like, what would your style be more like? I don't want to fucking talk to nobody. I just want to say what I want to fucking say and fuck you. And then it was like the Monday rant or something he had.
Monday morning podcast.
Monday morning podcast. And it was just like, I was like, this motherfucker can talk shit for whatever. It's like, whatever. It's like a dude that he like wins all the bar fight conversations. And it's the perfect platform for that.
Oh, for Bill, it's the perfect platform. One of the things he used to do is he used to use his cell phone. And this is when, God, the
It
early days of
ascends
the
from
Monday
the
morning
earth to
podcast.
the
I don't know when it
2000,
started.
I bet you
and
it had to be
again
around
descends to the earth
2000.
and receives the force of
6, 7,
things
8, somewhere
superior.
around
It could be.
And with
I
this,
don't remember.
your
But
best
what I do
beloved
remember is that
is
he
another
did a bunch of
story
them
the
where he
high and
left
far of
voicemails.
times.
So he would call himself or call a service and leave a voicemail.
Really?
So he'd be sitting there at the airport talking shit about some dude's haircut.
Oh yeah, I remember those. Yeah, yeah. And
And
then
he
he
would
had somewhere. It was just him really ranting, just fucking with people.
The audio quality was fucking terrible because he was literally talking into an old phone at the airport and then leaving a message somewhere, and that message became the podcast.
And you know what?
But it was hilarious.
It didn't even matter the quality of the sound. The idea was funny. Just like when I told you that time when Jamie was supposed to help me produce and then he fucking reneged on me. Right? He got real mad at me, whatever. I remember it's like it was yesterday.
I understand. I don't know how those two are connected, but Bill Burr, when he first started out, like that was literally the perfect platform for him in podcasting. Like he's good at interviewing people. I've been on his show before. Other people have been on his show before. He'll sit and talk to people. He's fine at it. But as far as like ranting, he's the best.
Yeah, that comes from an angry place.
Yeah, but he's also been doing it the longest. You got to think how many fucking years he's been doing that podcast where that muscle is flexed. That muscle is tight.
He doesn't need, like, you can form an opinion, but he doesn't need the response. Most people need the response and the feedback. How else do you know if you're doing good or not?
Yeah, he doesn't think about that. He's like, and another thing.
I was watching Seth Meyers the other night, and he was doing this monologue or whatever, and it was going okay. And then some people in the background were laughing, and you could just see the posture and everything change. Once he got a couple of people laughing, it was like, that's important.
I heard his Netflix special is good.
Really?
Yeah. I saw a clip on it, and it did not look bad. It did not look bad.
When is this recent? Because I know he had one.
I want to say his Netflix special was at least a year ago, because it was pre-pandemic for sure.
I didn't see the entire thing.
And I saw some clips, and I was like, this is good delivery. It's good writing. And I don't know that Seth Meyers like really had a long background in stand-up, did he?
No.
He had a background doing that show, doing the monologue for the show, but I think his stand-up was very good.
Whoa.
I thought it was solid. Did you ever see it, Jamie? It's solid.
It came out the end of October last year.
You all right? Jesus.
That's
not a good time to be coughing. It was very good. In terms of what I saw in the clips. I didn't watch the whole thing.
A city along
Most
the
of the
low
guys,
coast,
when
within the sound of the
SNL.
ocean's waves. But this is low.
But you know, there's some people that have done
will flood
talk
if the
shows
sea
and
level
then tried to do a stand-up special, and they don't really have the chops for it. But that didn't seem like that with him.
Yeah.
He seemed very relaxed.
He probably was in a beast for a while.
Well, he probably did the right thing too. He probably hired a bunch of writers. I mean, I didn't see all of it. Maybe the part that I saw was the only funny thing. I really have no idea.
A lot of those guys, I guess, to be buried into that show like that,
yeah, it's
you
hard,
don't really have
man.
time to go out and work out
it's hard
and work that.
But if you could do it, like Jimmy Kimmel could do stand up for sure, 100%. Jimmy Kimmel wanted to do stand up, 100% he could do it.
What do you think about Jim Carrey on SNL as Biden?
I didn't watch it.
None of it?
Nope.
Not one piece of it?
Not a piece.
God damn, son.
I got shit to do. If I'm gonna watch something, I generally, when I get home, I like to watch like things that have nothing to do with what's going on right now. By the end of the day, I mean,
you like documentaries and shit like that.
New Netflix special lets you skip the Trump jokes. Oh, there's a button you can skip Trump jokes.
Yeah, you can skip the intro on Netflix. You could skip past the chunk of stuff.
But this is him talking to people, so he's interviewing people.
Well, this is just an interview about it.
Interview about it. Oh, okay. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, well, that's a good move because people are tired of Trump jokes. You know, that's one of those subjects that people are like, enough already.
Man, I've been tired of them, and now I'm like,
they're coming back around.
For them to come, to be frustrated when a dude is on his way out. You know, it doesn't make no sense. It's like he is still getting to you. You know, it's just a matter of time. If you want to say the voice of the peoples was heard, it was a close situation, but it is what it is, and he's gone. Why are you still mad?
People have some legitimate gripes, and I understand where they're coming from. But my perspective is it's not changing anything, and it's not doing you any good to still be holding on. If you are anti-Trump, Biden.
Scientists and engineers believe they can
construct 99% efficient, right? They just haven't said it yet. When they say it, then he will become president, and then Kamala Harris will be the new vice president. So concentrate on good things now. It's over.
Right.
But people are so obsessed.
I heard them fuckers the other day. I might have said this earlier. Look at Mike Pence and them having a meeting with no mask. Man, okay. Why you still keep getting mad because this motherfucker don't have a mask on? It's got to be something else to talk about, son.
But they want to talk about negative things. That's the thing. Some people get addicted to talking about negative things, and they can't regroup even after a victory, and now focus on positive things. They want to continue to focus on negative things. And I can see their perspective too, especially with all these crazy tweets like, I won that election, you know, it's all fraud, it's all this, it's all that. Like, man, if you've got some real claims, and I don't know what the claims are, I haven't really honestly investigated them, but if you've got some real claims, you got to present the evidence, and then once you present the evidence, you say all the stuff like, I got robbed, I really won it. If you want to be in a position where you're respected,
right.
If you're the president of the United States, this isn't a regular guy. It's not like if you were involved in some ridiculous, like, small neighborhood election and you were joking around on Twitter, I won that fucking election.
Right.
That's to be expected. But when someone's in a position where they're in charge of the nuclear football, they literally are the commander-in-chief of the greatest army the world's ever known.
Firing motherfuckers.
And you're saying shit like that and firing people that don't agree with it.
Fire motherfuckers that, like, I know these other places like, this would be a great time for a fucking terrorist attack right now.
One of the guys he fired, what the guy said was he didn't believe there was widespread voter fraud. He's like, you're fired. If you don't believe that, you're fired. Like, this is like a madman.
The interesting part for me is, like, you trying to switch the thoughts of a person that is a huge Trump fan is a waste of time. The only thing you're gonna be is frustrated.
See, here's the thing, though. I don't know, and this is where it's really important. I don't know exactly how the election went down in terms of, like, was there like 0.01% fraud? Was there 0.5% fraud? How much fraud was there? We gotta assume that when there's people counting stuff, there's some fuckery going on.
Yeah, but the fuckery that's been reported, it's been like still no more than like 40 people, bro.
And then the only other problem is that it's all done through these machines, right? And then there's been all these conspiracy theories about machines that were supposed to have been giving the votes to Trump, gave those votes to Biden. Now, I could repeat those things, but I don't know if they're true.
But what I do know is...
You know what I'm saying?
I do know is I know Georgia, I know them motherfuckers pulled all them envelopes up to the building, and they cut them open, and they took them hand by hand.
They did them hand by hand.
Yo, those ones that were recounts or whatever, those, you can't, it's no machine that it's hand by hand.
Right.
It's fucking probably...
And how does that work? Does someone watch while they do it? Like, do they have a supervisor? Because I would imagine you would want to have, like, almost like two people watch while one person does it, which is so ridiculous. But it seems like you kind of, if you don't trust people...
I know, if you don't trust people...
You kind of have to have someone watching it. That's part of the argument that Trump's administration was saying, too, was that there were certain counts that they weren't allowed to observe. They had to be really
the same place, touching distance? Yeah, what was that like?
You know, I always say this. On John Gotti's worst day, he was a better guy than Sammy. Yeah. On his worst day. I mean, I wasn't a fan of his. He had kind of a Napoleon complex, and he was a small guy, and he was just very arrogant. So a lot of people didn't get along with him, you know. I mean, he was a different crew than me, but we still didn't get along. But I'll tell you this, Mike, I don't know how you feel about it, but here's a guy that admitted to 19 murders, and the government makes a deal with him and puts him back out on the street. I mean, this is the United States. You're not supposed to do stuff.
When they want you, they want you.
Yeah, but I mean, come on. 19 murders, you make a deal with a guy like that and put him back on the street. And you know what he was doing? Then he got involved in ecstasy in a club that I was involved with on Sunset
Phoenix?
Boulevard. No, the Key Club.
LA? Yeah, I know the Key Club.
You remember the Key Club?
Sunset.
I was involved with that, and they was selling ecstasy in the club. He just got out about a year ago, I think.
Oh, Sammy?
Yeah.
He's still here on the street now?
He's out, yeah.
Is the idea of, letting a guy like that out, letting him come back to society, is the idea that you're getting something bigger in return? Like, what is the psychology of that system?
They needed Gotti. I mean, they wanted him. He beat them so many times. He was, thumbing his nose in their face, and they wanted him, and they were willing to make a deal with anybody. Really.
Yeah.
You know what happened? I'll tell you what happened in our life. There was a lot of respect. There was also a lot of fear. What happened in our life, when guys on the street started fearing the government more than they were fearing our life, that's when everybody started flipping. It was unbelievable.
When did that change happen?
Really in the 80s, when they started using that racketeering law. I was in the next cell with Sammy. I'll never forget. We were in NDC, and we were talking through the air conditioning vent, not even whatever it was in the floor, because you couldn't talk at a wall there. But we were talking, and for some reason he didn't sound right to me. These things were not sounding right the way he was talking. And then they came and took him away not too long after that. But I kind of resent this because people say, oh, the younger guys really couldn't stand up like the older guys. But my answer to that, 30, 40 years ago, you got 10 years, you got 15 years. Anybody can do that. You do 7, 8 years, you get out on parole, you go back to your life. Today, they hit you with a RICO charge. You got 20 years right off the bat, no more parole, meaning you're doing 17 and a half minimum. And if you get 20 on a RICO case, you're lucky. I was facing 150 years.
Wow.
And they would have gave me every bit of it. Because when I was in MDC, I'm watching these guys going to trial. Mike, they're coming back 300 years, 90 years. I said, man, I'm the youngest guy. They're going to give me 5,000 years here. I'll never get out of jail. But, I took my shot anyhow. I mean, I took a plea and I did my time. But fortunately, I beat him a couple of times, so they wanted a conviction on me. But that's why guys didn't stand up. Nobody stands up. It's very hard. You know one guy that stood up? My dad. My dad, they can give him 5 million years. He's never saying a word to anybody. He was that kind of a guy.
Why do you think it's necessary for people need to live that life? They need to make sure that they feel there's something. I'm not doing this cold. I don't care. They can kill me. Why do you think they have to have that mentality?
If there is any work in the afterlife.
To be part of that life?
Yeah. No, just that mentality. Like some people that's not even part of life that's like that. Why would somebody want to do something like that?
You mean to be involved in a life or to be an informant?
No. Don't give a fuck. I don't care if they give me 100 years.
There's just...
a lot of people say it, but a lot of people not like that.
No.
Then you meet one rare guy that's like that.
Yeah, and that's my dad. Well, Persico Jr., my former boss. I mean, these guys, they're old-time guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, I'll die in jail. That's it. My dad, the worst thing you could ever call me was a snitch. You can call me never that. He just can't accept it. It's not part of his mentality.
Why do you think people take the lifestyle? That lifestyle gave them honor, you believe? So that's why they think it's so sincere. Yeah.
Hey, Mike, you know what the best thing to happen to that life on the street? The movie The Godfather.
Yeah?
I'm telling you. I was younger then. It was in the 70s, but Joe Colombo was involved in that movie. I remember.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. He actually edited the script.
Oh, wow.
He took the original script, had the word mafia all over it. He took it out. He made changes in it. And they had no choice. They had to do it. But after that movie
Did it
came
change
out,
the family?
after that movie came out, guys started to walk differently. They started to dress
And
differently.
people treated them differently.
They treated them differently. Yeah.
Listen, I can remember being black and from Brownsville, being a mafia guy. That's fucking like God. You can get away with anything. The cops fucking was nice. You never got a ticket. The cops brought you presents, brought you tea or coffee. The cops. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nice.
True.
Yeah.
All the celebrities, all the fucking vans, all the big kind of guys respect you. They do
Right.
business with you.
Yeah.
They don't know your fucking name or anything.
That's the truth.
They don't. You don't even meet them. You meet their fucking boys. They're business partners. Their lawyers do business with you.
That's the truth.
Imagine living that life. That's all. Everybody, the Irish guys, all of them, they wanted to be involved. Everybody wanted to be involved with the mob. They had a history of that. You're gonna make some money being involved with these Italians. They're gonna get you money. You ain't gonna go to jail either.
And the reason for that, the reason for that, there's these other groups out there, but if you take the drug business away from them, they all collapse. And I'm not knocking, I'm just saying that's the truth.
Yeah.
But with us, we survived and prospered for well over 100 years under some very tough conditions. The reason for that, we infiltrated every fabric of society, from the White House right down to the guy on the street in the numbers business. We control the unions in this country. You control the unions, you control the country. Because you got all that money behind you for political purposes to buy your way into things. You got everybody at your beck and call. You call
Can't
us
get
right.
shit built.
Yeah,
Without
that's right.
the union.
Can't get shit built, man. They building every day, 10 millions of times. You can't get nothing built. The country stops. We stop
Stops,
eating. Ooh, you don't want the country to stop. It's a motherfucker.
You
We
call a
back to
strike with the
slavery.
Teamsters?
We beyond slavery.
You call a strike with the Teamsters, you got 2.5 million truck drivers stop.
Yeah.
You call a strike at the docks, nothing comes in and out of the country. That's tremendous control.
Yeah, definitely. Take us back into, you became a captain. You're earning a lot of money, a lot of income for the family. What are the businesses then? What are your options? What did you do?
Well, like I said, I had a head for legitimate. Look, I had a gambling operation. I had 12 or 13 bookmakers working for me, And the reason for that, if there's a bookmaker on the street, we're not going to allow him to operate unless he's kicking back on us. So they're all associated. Yeah. So we had a bunch of bookmakers.
That's cool stuff. That's rational thinking, though.
Yeah, because look.
In that word, that's rational thinking.
Yeah.
Why would you be on my corner? This is where I make my money. It's my family live at. Why would you be here selling money and we're not getting a part of it?
Mike understands.
That's rational.
That's the way it went.
Yeah.
I had a head. We had the union. I had a lot of union control too. At one time, I had the security guards union with me. We had the security guards in 9 nuclear power plants around the country.
Whoa.
So 9 nuclear power plants were controlled by a mob-controlled union.
Wow.
I don't know if you know the deal, but with a nuclear power plant, after it shuts down, you have to have security there for 100 years.
Whoa.
That's the law. Even after it shuts down, they don't use it anymore because of, it's toxic and all that stuff.
Radioactive.
So, I had some union control, and, I had a lot of legitimate business. I had a bunch of car dealerships. I had a leasing company.
What kind of cars you sold?
I had Mercedes, and I had Chevrolet, a Mazda. I had a big leasing company, so we were doing that. And I had a production company out in L.A. We were making movies. And, you got a couple of restaurants, and you got a piece of stuff, because guys are coming to you all the time. They're looking for money, so you give them a few bucks, you take a piece of the business, and that's how it goes. And I was very aggressive, so I had a lot of stuff going on back then.
Did you ever meet the guy, the Iceman?
I never met him.
Your crew, though.
Yeah, he was around us. You know what, Mike? I don't think I met him. I really don't. But yeah, and I didn't know at the time. Sometimes you don't talk about a certain guy, but
Yeah. Oh, man. I mean,
What did your father think about Capone?
my dad's funny. He didn't think real highly of him.
That's weird.
Yeah, he really did. And, Capone came out of New York. You know that. Yeah, he came out of Brooklyn, too.
Yeah, Brooklyn wasn't that tough.
No.
Wasn't that tough in Brooklyn. They had to leave Brooklyn after we went to
right.
Chicago. Yeah,
That's right.
oh, interesting.
Mike knows. That's
Yeah.
right.
Interesting. How far back? What's the lineage? How old is the mob?
It's the beginning of time.
Ancient, right?
Mafia started in Italy with the French. But imagine it had to been back then with Hannibal during that time too.
Yeah. like
How do
underground.
you not have secret societies when you have civilizations, right?
Way back. And then, they immigrated here to America and started in the early 1900s.
Oh.
1900, early on.
American mafia and stuff.
Yeah.
It's American, but it hasn't been going on from the beginning of time.
Yeah.
And how could it not be going on? Probably big business is a mafia now. Corporate America's mafia now. If you don't do this, we sell you out. We'll crush you. We starve you out if you don't take this deal.
Same Machiavellian thought process.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What is the state of it now?
It still exists.
Uh-huh.
It's certainly not going away, not in my lifetime, but it's not the same.
Huh.
It's really not. The government did I guess you got to say, a good job starting in the 80s, and I give Giuliani the credit or the blame.
He put the last dirt in the coffin.
He really started to use the racketeering laws effectively. It was him. So, he
created them pretty much, huh?
Yeah. He and he was Italian, too. He gave the story that he visited Joe Bonanno, and he got insulted over Bonanno's book that he wrote that time, so he decided to go after the mob. But I believe, that was, he came down from Washington to become the U.S. Attorney in Manhattan, so high profile, and he picked the biggest high profile organization. He went after the mob and made headlines, and it was good for his career.
Huh. Now, is a guy like Giuliani in danger of having a hit put on him or anything like that?
In our life, we really didn't go after law enforcement. In Italy, it's different. Italy, they kill everybody. Family, government, they don't care. But they don't care. As a matter of fact, they wanted me to do a book signing in Italy, and I said, you guys are out of your mind. You get a body double or something, I ain't going to Italy because they don't care over there. But we never did that. But the one guy, there was two guys that were high profile like that there was a hit on, or they were thinking about it. One was Giuliani, and the other, believe it or not, was Geraldo Rivera.
Holy.
Really?
Yes. And I told him this when he interviewed me once. I said, I was on Hannity with him.
Oh, my God.
He almost, Mike, he almost died.
Yeah.
I told him off camera. I said, there was two guys, Geraldo, that we really hated. One was Giuliani, and the other was you. And he turned white.
I'm sure.
I said, but you're okay now. I said, they're dead, so they ain't going to hurt you. But
Geraldo Rivera tried so hard when he was coming up and he had his shows. He just wanted to be accepted, so went to the crowd to love him so bad. He just wanted everybody.
Yeah, he was. He made his name on the empty safe. Remember Capone's safe? Yeah.
Al Capone.
Yeah.
If anything, you would have wanted to work with law enforcement as much as possible. Yeah.
Well, you know what happened? There's so many guys. Look, we had 5 families in New York, and among all the 5 families, we had about 750 guys that took the oath. Actually took the oath. We had a lot of associates. But there were so many of us that we had so many relationships. I had cousins that were cops.
Yeah.
We had neighbors that were cops. So we were able to get around them. They liked us, So we were able to move around pretty good.
Well, it was they did the scientific study, and they realized a cop's psychology and a criminal psychology is pretty much the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're pretty much the same.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
That. It makes sense.
Yeah.
You got to have a certain mentality to be part of that. I mean, look.
Yeah. Well, that brings me to my next question is, you crossed paths with Donnie Brasco?
Yeah.
What was that?
What was that
on the
like?
phone before.
Did you?
Yeah, my friend that was an FBI agent was friends with him. I talked to him on the phone.
Well, I was friends with Lefty, his main guy there.
Ruggiero, right?
Yeah, Ruggiero. He was, by the way, great movie.
Amazing
That was
movie.
amazing.
One of the best.
I think that Pacino.
The guy Lefty, they made everybody fall in love with Lefty.
That was Pacino's best role.
Yeah,
as a
he's so
better
good
than
in
The
that.
Godfather.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah,
So
fucking
good.
Lefty.
So good.
But so I crossed paths with him because they were from Greenpoint too. Once or twice in that life, I always tease him now. I said, man, I'm so glad I did this with you. I've done a few things with him afterwards, And,
I said to him, and then you feel sorry about Lefty, man? I said, didn't you feel sorry about it, man? He said, yeah.
He did, yeah. Him and Sonny Black. He said he felt bad, but, he had to do what he had to do.
Yeah.
Because, Lefty didn't get killed over that. But Sonny Black did.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, in the movie where it shows him taking off his stuff like he was going to get killed, he died of natural causes. But Sonny Black got killed over Donnie Brasco.
I'm glad Lefty didn't.
Yeah.
Wow. How was that a 1 in a million thing, or did that happen a lot?
Didn't happen a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, they just didn't do their homework on him. You know, they really didn't. I mean, you got to go back. You know, I don't know if you noticed, Mike. They had a big undercover investigation on me to get Don King. It was called shadow boxing.
Really?
Yeah, I'll tell you how it happened.
That'd have been so fucking interesting.
No, I tell you, Don, he's pretty smart though. They send these two guys to me, and they tell me they want to get into. One was an undercover FBI agent. The other was around Muhammad Ali, a guy by the name of Reggie. I forget his last name. They took him out of prison because he knew the boxing game. And they come to me and they say, look, we got money. We want to get into the boxing.
They let him out of prison.
They let him out of prison. They said, we want to be in the boxing game, but we want to go at the high level. I said, well, who do you want to meet? They said, Don King. So I romanced these guys for about 6 or 7 months before I would bring them to Don. I get a hold of Al Sharpton, who was running with us at the time, and I said, Al, you got to set up a
They showed him
meeting.
doing some stuff too. Remember they showed him and he had the cowboy hat on,
Remember
sitting
that?
down with the undercover FBI.
Those were the two guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were the two guys. Because they posed as drug dealers from South America that cleaned up their act. So I tell them, I said, look, I'm not going to bring you to King unless I see the money. So the FBI sets in a bank account up, and they show that they got $15 million in a bank. So Sharpton sets up the meeting with Don, and we go to see him. Before I let these two guys in the room, I go see Don. I said, Don, listen, I only traced these guys 6 or 7 months. I verified the money. But at this table, don't say anything out of the way. Talk straight. Tell them how the business runs. Do everything legit, right? And he does. He doesn't say anything wrong. He does everything right. And we walk out of the room, and now I'm getting him. I say, you got to put up the money. And the FBI wouldn't allow them to go that far, and then the whole thing fell apart after that. But yeah, they.
What do they do? They just fucking look at some paper and say, let's get in there. What do they do?
They just start these they think there's something up. They start an investigation. They see where it leads. That's it.
So that wasn't. You never heard of another instance of a guy infiltrating or.
You know, not to the level that Piston did. No, I mean, like, he was.
Some people tried to become turncoats and got messed up.
I mean,
Did your father tell you about the Relish guy that fell out the window?
Who?
Remember that time? Kid Relish. Remember the guy that was?
Oh, A.B. Relish. Yeah. They threw him out.
Father told you about those?
Yeah. Murder Incorporated and all that stuff. Oh yeah. No, but with. I mean, Piston, they wanted him to kill somebody. They were going to bring him on a hit, and they were going to make him. They were going to straighten him out. I mean, he got that far, and obviously they had to stop at that point, but he got that far.
Wow.
They really accepted him. Sonny Black, I heard, loved him.
Wow.
So tell me, do you have some people that are just born enforcers that and get involved with them all? They just want to embrace it?
So there was guys there that